Gets me every time. Greetings and salutations, everybody, and welcome on in to Learning the Ropes. I'm XLJ the OG, joined by my partner in crime, my brother from another mother, Mr. B-Roll.
How we doing all that? I can't talk today. How we doing out there today, world? I see we already have 5 viewers, so if you are here, let us know in the chat.
Yes, leave us a comment. Yes, indeed, and we are on the road to WrestleMania. It's the most wonderful time of year for wrestling. Am I right, my friend? Oh, yeah, two stub muffins indeed.
That's
There you
right.
go. But seriously, thank you all for joining us tonight as we are talking WrestleMania. We're going to conclude our history of WrestleMania. We got so much to get to. And hey, this is kicking it off for us here on Cole TV because all week long we are going to have new content every single day of the week.
Yeah.
Regarding WrestleMania, pretty much, and the build-up.
WrestleMania week is it's here. Like,
it is here.
You know, it seemed like so distant, you know, so far off. You know, like you knew it was coming. The build was starting, but it still seemed so far away, right? But
here we
WrestleMania week,
it's like
is
Christmas
here.
Yeah, and
it really is. If you're a wrestling fan, with all the shows and stuff, yeah, it really is.
Oh my gosh, yes. And to give you an idea what you have to look forward to this week on Cole TV, we're gonna get right into it with our Plug-a-Palooza. You almost thought I was gonna forget that. Anywho,
Nope.
So let's just show you what we got all planned this week on Cole TV. I just love that music. It gives me adrenaline. It gives me goosebumps. I can't speak. It makes me
hyped.
excited.
Get you hyped.
Gets me hyped, indeed. But that's what you can expect here all this week. And like I say, tonight we're kicking it off here with Learning the Ropes. And you saw one of the things we mentioned there was a brand new show we've been talking about. We're so excited to present it. It's Pro Wrestling 60, PW60. That show is going to be debuting tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So hop on over to Cole TV and check it out before you watch Monday Night Raw, the go-home show of Raw before the biggest show of the year, the granddaddy of all, WrestleMania. And hey, speaking of PW60, later tonight, we're going to have a very special sneak peek at the very first episode of PW60. Now, of course, we'd be remiss not to acknowledge Chubby and Chub Life Week or Chubby Week.
Do we have to?
It's
not his birthday week anymore. Like,
it's over, but still, he did a good job holding us down. And hey, we want to thank you all, you new subscribers, all you new people checking us out and coming along for this journey that is Cole TV. But
yeah,
Chub Life. Oh,
you did mention subscribers, so I do want to chime in real quick. I did happen to notice, and I guess we do largely have to thank Chubby for this, but we're at 293 followers. We are only seven away from 300.
That's right. We're going to get there. The goal is to get there before Mania.
I'll make a deal. I mean, we have 6 viewers right now. I assume most of them probably already subscribe. I mean, if you don't, what's wrong with you? But but if we were to get to say 300, you know, maybe during the show or you know, before, you know, we get together for WrestleMania, I mean, we may have to, you know, do something crazy, you know? Do something crazy.
Yeah, we may have to. We're going to come up with something.
Let's get 300.
But we got to acknowledge our tribal chief, Chubby. Oh, God, that sounds scary just saying that out loud. But if you missed it this week on Cole TV, there was a very special Chub Life that had a very special celebrity guest. So, why don't you check out this clip from Chub Life?
Did you know it's my birthday? My birthday is here.
Here, buddy.
Check this out.
To hop on here and wish you a happy birthday.
Woof, 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 woof. Woof, 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 woof.
You have a very happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Chubby.
Hey, son, I've got one more birthday wish coming your way, and I think you're gonna like this. Check this out.
I want to wish Chubby, who is my biggest fan, Chubby a happy birthday. Even though he's an asshole sometimes, he's a fucking awesome dog. Happy motherfucking birthday, Chubby.
Oh my god, Nick fucking Gage, wish me a happy birthday. This is fucking awesome. MDK a fucking day. And bastard, he said I was a part of his gang. So don't fuck with me.
Oh my. It just does my heart good that Nick Gage not only wished my dog a happy birthday, but he also called him a fucking asshole. Life is good, folks. Dreams do come true. It can happen to you.
You really can't sum it up any better, I guess. Like,
Yeah, I guess not.
happy birthday, even though you're a butthole sometimes. Like, I mean, yeah, that sums it up to me.
Yes, indeed. So, well, that, like I say, WrestleMania week is coming to Cole TV. You can expect it all this week. And yeah, you can still catch the replay of Chubb Life. And finally, to close out our Plug-a-Palooza here, because we got a lot to get into, you can get our merch. Our sweet merch. And yes, Chubby even has merch now as well. And you can go over to sweetdollfacecreations.bigcartel.com and get some of that merch. Mr. B-Roll, could you leave them a link here in the comments to go check out some of that sweet merch?
I definitely can do that. But yeah, I should have worn my Chubby shirt tonight. But
Yes, Chubby. Nick wished you a happy birthday. We know.
yeah, but unfortunately, when I was a good uncle and I delivered some cheeseburgers to the
You did.
to the nephews, and
Okay.
what happened when I delivered them? I mean, Chubby being Chubby, peed on the floor, and I slipped in it, and so that sure had to be washed. So.
There you go. There you go. And I'm going to put you over. It wasn't a cheeseburger. It was double cheeseburgers. But anyways, so yes, that you can catch a replay of Chubb Life, get the merch, all that jazz. But we got a show to get to, folks. I've got a very special guest. We need to bring him on here. He's been waiting long enough. He's our good, close personal friend. He is the wrestling encyclopedia himself. Please welcome Michael Duplessis. What's up, my friend?
What up, y'all? What up? How y'all doing?
We are doing awesome, man, because we are on the road to WrestleMania, and we are so excited to get there because we are mere days away. And you know, the best part about WrestleMania is all of the other shows that are going on too, which we are all going to enjoy and partake of. It's going to be an awesome. It's the best time of year to be a wrestling fan.
And I was watching that video. Didn't know the Santino brothers had a show. Shout out to Joey Chaos,
Yeah.
SPW Deathmatch Wrestling legend.
Yeah,
His school.
and
so that's
yeah,
cool.
so that's going to be on. I think it was on the thing. I think it said it was at 2 or 3 or something like that. But yeah, that's Eastern Standard Time, by the way, folks. So, but yeah. And hey, if you're out on the West Coast, there's several popular Wrestle Talk content creators that are going to shows. Like our good friend Sienna, Best Scout Machine, MWO, Shooting Star Press, all of them. You see them out in the wild, say hi to them. I know they would get a kick out of it. And yeah, okay, mine's bigger. Yeah, whatever. So, let's get right into it, gentlemen. We're talking WrestleMania. We've went through them all pretty much tonight. We are going to finish up our talks on the history of WrestleMania, and there you go. I was trying to send you that in the You're
Hey, I'll call a spade a spade. I effed up.
I was waiting for somebody to call you out on it. I didn't want to just say it here. Like, it's just like, dude, your microphone's up here. It needs to be down here. Anyways, I love you, buddy. It's all good. But hey, let's get right into our talk here, WrestleMania. And let's talk about WrestleMania 31 from Silicon Valley.
Yes.
WrestleMania 31. This actually, you know what? My honest opinion on this show, I went into this show kind of not really too enthusiastic about it, except for like one match. But this WrestleMania really kind of over delivered in my opinion. But Michael, I got to ask you, what are your thoughts, or what do you think of WrestleMania 31?
I actually love this WrestleMania. Like you, wasn't expecting much. I only have one gripe about this WrestleMania,
I think
and
you and
it's
I are going to
literally
have the same gripe. You go ahead,
about the
buddy.
pre-show.
Oh no! I thought we were talking about somebody going over in a match. But yes, let's talk about the
Oh.
pre-show.
No, my only gripe about this Mania, I might have the same gripe. I don't, but my only gripe is nobody, like very few people watch that pre-show. Watch the pre-shows. Like nobody really cares. You don't put your championships on the pre-show. For the first match on the pre-show to be the tag team titles in a four-way
Mhm.
is disrespectful to the belts, in my opinion.
For your tag team championship, and also the supposed like WrestleMania tradition of the Andre the Giant Battle Royal going on the pre-show too. But hey, I guess
Yeah.
it could be worse. You could be just regulated to going on Friday Night SmackDown. Oh fuck!
Yeah, like
Oh wait.
like
Never
yeah,
mind.
no offense.
Yeah.
The Andre the Andre Giant they had one good battle royal and then it got kind of regulated to whatever.
Yeah.
Like that battle royal did not go over as
Yeah.
they wanted.
Well, and if you go back and look in the history of WrestleMania, a lot of times they'd have a dark match, and it was a battle royal before the show that you would like. The only way you could see it back in the days if you bought like the DVD or something, and it was like a special
Yeah.
feature on there, or if you were
Or
at
they
Mania
had-
itself.
Yeah. And they had the like sometimes they would do it on the like the pay-per-view like buy-in show.
Yep, that's
'Cause They
true.
would do those on like DirecTV.
Yeah, and I tell you, it's interesting that you brought that up, Michael, because like we're starting off with 31. It's just going to get worse from here, folks, because you're going to start getting where you're getting 3 to 4 matches on the freaking pre-show. So, yeah. But no, here's my biggest gripe with this WrestleMania. Motherfucking Triple H. Why in the hell did he go over on Sting? Come on, man.
Yeah.
His only WrestleMania, and you can't give him a fucking win. Come on, bro. I like Triple H. Don't get me wrong, but fuck. Really?
But, see, my thing is, I don't see that as a Triple H call.
Think it's a Vince call?
I see that as Vince finally putting the nail in the coffin to WCW. I see it as Vince's ego not wanting to do the right thing. Because as we have roared over the last 2 years, Vince really doesn't like doing the right thing at all.
It's not good for business, pal.
So
yeah.
I don't see that. I've never put that against Triple H. I swearly see that as a Vince McMahon wanting to put the nail in the coffin to WCW and saying F you.
I think that's a very fair assumption, and I do agree with you. So I guess my gripe isn't with Vince, or is it with Triple H more so with Vince? Just the decision, though. I felt like it's Sting's only Mania, and the match itself is pretty good. I think.
It was until the interference,
and that too. Okay, so DX comes out. Okay, great, and then the NWO comes out to save Sting. What in the fuck is that all about? Sting, and Vince, did you not even watch WCW, bro? Because I mean, it was Sting against the NWO. What the fuck? Like,
it's once again Vince McMahon sucking off Hogan.
Brother, fuck you, Hulk Hogan, and fuck you, Vince McMahon.
Hold on.
Oh God, are we going back on it again, like we did last week?
I mean,
Hey,
if you got any F-ums in your pockets, just let them fly, I guess.
We're still working on that shirt of all the fuck'ems. So, yeah, and Hulk Hogan and Vince McMahon are definitely on the top.
I don't think there's a shirt big enough.
No, there really isn't. I mean, it was cool to see Sting at this Mania, but it was just kind of like, I really wish Sting would have went over. Like, but I mean, other than that, it is what it is. I think you also have to mention too. I feel like, well, no, I guess we skipped a couple Manias, but like now we're getting in the era of Triple H where it's like, is there more focus on the entrance than there is the match itself? Because the entrances are so elaborate. Y'all remember this one? It was like the Terminator fucking entrance. where he like comes up from the stage and he's like a fucking
Yeah.
cyborg or something. It's just like, okay. Because this is the same year they put Arnold in the Hall of
Yeah.
Fame.
The Terminator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
And
Triple H 2000.
The girls were Bailey. Yeah. And the girls were Bailey, Sasha, and Alexa, wasn't they?
Oh, I thought that was at
The
when he.
masks?
I thought that's when he. That was. I thought that was at 30 when he was doing like
Oh, that
the
might
coming
have
down
been
from the
30.
throne. Yeah, and I think it was Charlotte,
Yeah,
Sasha,
that was 30.
and Alexa. Yeah.
Yeah.
But nonetheless,
never
you
mind.
know, you got your epic entrances. And the Sting entrance was just kind of weird. So it was like we have some Japanese drummers here playing drums. Okay.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
The Sting entrance never made sense.
No, it did
Yeah,
not.
they definitely screwed Sting during that whole run.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, enough about that run because there's some other monumental moments on this show. And we talk about bad booking. We gotta give credit where credit was due. There was some good booking on this show as well, and they really were smart with how they booked the main event. And I'm gonna go ahead and say it, and y'all may think this is controversial, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it. In my opinion, WrestleMania 31 in the current era we're at was the last great WrestleMania main event to close the show out. And I'm talking to close the show. I'm not talking like main event level matches. I'm talking to end the show. Because I think this era we're talking about tonight, I'm going to be honest, has some of the worst main events in WrestleMania history. They're not like just, you'll see what we mean when we get really deep into this too.
Yeah.
But
No, I
this main
I
event,
can agree with you, because that cash in was phenomenal.
yes. So Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns won the very first time they're meeting. And like just the hype for this was like, and they're shoving Roman down your throat. And like this was like Roman's first real like big push, his first big moment, first WrestleMania main event. And that crowd in San Fran just fucking hated him. Could not stand Roman. But you know what though? This match delivers though. I would say this match outside of the SummerSlam encounter from last year is probably Roman and Brock's best match.
Yeah.
It's a really good match.
And my favorite thing about that is the stories of how pissed his family was that the crowd is booing him.
Oh yeah, that's
'Cause
right. I
all
forgot
the
about
Simones
that.
live in San Francisco, and they were like wanting the riot because the fans were booing him, and he was supposed to be the good guy.
Yeah, but that's what happens when you take something that's organic and
And
make
you
it
shut it down.
inorganic. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're back. So obviously they don't want Roman to win. Brock, it's just kind of like he's a part timer. What do? Well, you have big meaty men slapping big meaty men for about 15 minutes, and then all of a sudden it's the heist of the century. The first time ever it's done, and it makes you wonder how it took this long for this to happen. But Seth Rollins comes out, cashes his money in the bank in the main event, and ends the show as your new WWE champion.
Is that the best cash-in ever?
I think so, because I mean it's on the grandest stage of them all, right? I mean, there's been some good ones, but yeah.
I know it's the grandest stage in all, and that puts it over a little bit, but it's a close second with Dolph.
I was thinking that too.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll say this. I think the most grandest is Seth, but I think the most emotionally like crowd infested, excited was in fact Dolph when he cashed in the night after WrestleMania 29. Yes, swinging the title at the end of the night, man. That was crazy. It was a crazy moment because you always wondered like why it hadn't happened, if it would ever happen, and then like I say, they really kind of booked themselves into a corner here, but man, they got themselves out of it with having Seth win. You don't really hurt Brock. You don't hurt Roman. It's a win-win for everybody. But that main event definitely was incredible. But you got some other matches on this card we got to talk about. And one of them on paper was like, oh my God, this is a dream matchup. Two of the most iconic, kind of similar characters I think you can think of, which is saying something. Talking about the matchup between Bray Wyatt and the return of The Undertaker. And I think the biggest thing with this one is it's just it kind of wasn't as epic as it could have been, and I think simply for the fact of just like, Taker at this point, it was like this is kind of like Taker's going downhill. Like
Yeah, the
it's
streak is
just
over. His
the
body's
streak's
worn
over.
down.
Yeah, so it's like what now?
Yeah.
But and I mean they've even said this in documentaries too, where I think Taker before he's going out is like kind of doubting himself or something. Like Triple H literally has to come over and like give him a pep talk essentially.
Yeah, Triple H
Him go,
and Cena both had to give him pep talks.
yeah. Yeah, but I will say this though. I think like for what they did, I mean, I think it was decent enough. It's just this to me is one of those matchups where it's just like it's never going to live up to the hype, because it's just these two very similar iconic characters meeting for the first time. So, it is what it is. Also on this card, you had John Cena going one-on-one with Rusev for the United States Championship. And who will ever forget the Rusev entrance where he comes to WrestleMania in a fucking tank?
In a tank, and hearing the story about the tank now makes it the greatest entrance in the world.
Okay, I've got to plead the fifth here. I don't know if I know this story. What's the story on the tank?
Rusev and both Lana have admitted that while in Los Angeles, they
Did they fuck in the tank?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I did not know that. Hell yeah.
And let me show my wrestling newbiness. Rusev is Miro, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Rusev is Miro.
I thought so.
Yes. That's so
Yeah.
cool. I had no idea that happened. And hey, Irish, that's your really first boneyard match. But that's because they had sex in a tank. Well, I did not know that, Mike. That's incredible. That's
I feel like that's like a bucket list, like for me now.
I want to have sex in a tank. Yes, make it happen. Oh my goodness, that's incredible! Wow. So John Cena going over and defeating Rusev, ending his undefeated streak. Also on this card, we had Daniel Bryan win the Intercontinental Championship in a ladder match, also featuring Bad News Barrett, the champion, Dean Ambrose, Dolph Ziggler, Luke Harper, R-Truth, and Stardust, which is somebody we're going to be talking about a lot later here. Anyways, so you kick it off with a ladder match. It's a ladder match. It has multiple people in it. It is what it is, folks.
It's a Mania thing.
It's a Mania thing, exactly. But how about this one, though? Randy Orton and Seth Rollins. And, of course, the highlight of this one, that RKO. Like, maybe the best RKO outside of, like, the Matt Sydal Shooting Star Press RKO.
I was going to say, the Matt Sydal one's my favorite. But, yeah, this is a number 2. Like,
yeah.
They're very...
Yeah, they're very good. Very, very good indeed. And you had a Divas matchup, a tag match with AJ Lee and Paige going against the Bella Twins because we're going to get the ladies on the card.
Thought about this match.
Yeah. 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 And I mean, it's just one of those things, too, where it's like they're still making strides, but it's like once we get to the next Mania, that's when it's like, okay, now we're starting to put like the importance on females of where they need to be. And man, oh man, it's interesting. These Manias we're talking tonight, folks, with where women are placed on the card compared to what the Manias we've talked about in the past. So we got some important key moments in the history of women's wrestling. One last thing about this WrestleMania before we move on. Also, we can't forget about the segment where Ronda Rousey makes her appearance in the WWE for the first time, as she jumps the barricade to help out The Rock confront Stephanie McMahon and Triple H. And that would be some foreshadowing for a couple WrestleManias to come. But that is WrestleMania 31. Now let's go to WrestleMania 32. Welcome to my house. This WrestleMania. Okay, this to me, this WrestleMania right here is the beginning of the super duper duper long fucking WrestleManias, which I gotta be honest, as an old man, it wears my ass out. We're about to talk about an era of WrestleManias where it's like, folks, you count the pre-show, you better be ready for 6 or 7 hours of wrestling action, which it's cool, but at the same time, it's like people talk about it going to 2 nights. The reason it's 2 nights is because of stuff like this. And trust me, I honestly prefer 2 nights over this. It gives me, I think it's
Yeah.
more digestible in my opinion. But
I
there's
don't
some.
mind long shows if the quality is there.
That's true.
There-
That's a valid point. Because this
There was a
WrestleMania,
point here in these these WrestleManias were long shows, but the quality of matches is
yeah, it's more. You know what, Michael? It's not so much the quality of the matches. I think it's just they're going for moments, which is fine.
yeah.
But we need a combination of the moments with the matches. So
Right. Yeah.
and I mean, this WrestleMania, it's got some decent matches on it, but we got to talk about the elephant in the room once again. This WrestleMania main event, yuck, yuck. Sorry, not sorry. Triple H defending the WWE Championship against Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is going to rise up
Oh,
against the Authority. Who fucking cares? I mean, I'm sorry. Once again, it's just shoving Roman down our throats. And like, it's interesting. We're talking about this, and we're going to talk about like towards the end here, like Roman as the tribal chief. It's just amazing to see how he started and where he's at now, because where he's at now is so much better than this shit.
Yes.
But so the build up to this one was like Triple H pretty much was like came to Roman when he won the WWE title. Is like, are you with me against me? I'm not against you because I'm the lone dog, or I'm the big dog, or whatever. My Roman Empire, blah blah blah. And thus ended up taking the title from Roman by having him put it on the line at the Royal Rumble in the match itself. And Triple H entered the match itself and would win the match, become the WWE champion. 27 minutes is the length of this match. Fuck. And on top of that, this is like after you've been watching the show for like 5 to 6 hours. It's like, I remember watching this live and I was just like, God, is this over? I just really don't give a shit at this point. But that was your main event. Some other matches we got to talk about on this card too. Another one that got a significant amount of time, and I honestly didn't understand the buildup for this because it just was weird. But let's talk about the Hell in a Cell match. Shane McMahon, returning Shane McMahon against The Undertaker. So, like, Shane comes back pretty much, and it's like, okay, Dad, I'm going to take back control of the company or something because the Authority is running wild. And Vince is like, I'll give it to you.
We never got to know what was in the box.
Yeah, that's true. There's so much shit in this that you're just like, eh. But
I'm still eeked by that.
It's not a bad match by any means. It's a decent match, but just the build up to it was just like, why is Shane going against The Undertaker? Why is The Undertaker the hired hand of Vince McMahon? It's just kind of like, because Taker's still babyface at this point, and of course you knew there was going to be the Shane McMahon spot in this matchup, and it's a cool spot and all, but it's just not trying to be like maybe overcritical, but I mean it is a little like kind of it. You knew it was coming. It was like you could see it coming a mile away. It's still amazing, nonetheless, and I don't got the balls to do it. But
just at his age, he should not be doing it.
Yeah, but I mean, and we hadn't seen Shane, I think, in the ring for like at that maybe 6 or 7 years or something like that. It'd been a while because he'd been away from the company. So, but Shane, like I say, the match itself's not bad, but once again, 30 minutes on this card that just goes forever and ever and ever and ever. And then another eyesore you got to talk about, the no holds barred matchup between Brock Lesnar and Dean Ambrose. This is another one where it was just like, yeah. And it's like, I remember going into it, I thought it would have been a lot.
That made Dean quit the company?
I think it's a big part of it. Like, I mean, there is a lot that did end up happening, later on, of course, with him, but this is definitely one of them. And Lesnar just like didn't really give a shit. I mean, this was a main event matchup, really, or one of the marquee matchups, we should say, on WrestleMania, and it it was just a bummer. Not that great of a moment, you know. But I will say this about this WrestleMania: you did have some incredible moments on it. We got to talk about them. And first and foremost, I want to talk about your opening matchup. What is up, MJ? How the hell are you, my
Hey,
friend?
Miss Ziegler.
That's
How you doing,
right.
sis?
Yeah, but I want to talk about the opening matchup, the Intercontinental Championship ladder match, because when I watched this at the time and the finish of this, I did not see coming at all. So your champions, Kevin Owens, and this, by the way, this is the first KO Mania, and he's going up against Dolph Ziggler, The Miz, Sami Zayn, and then if you remember at the time frame, last minute they added a couple random wrestlers where it was like, why are they in the match? Sin Cara,
Yeah.
Stardust, which is crazy to think about. That like Cody Rhodes was like just put in a match last minute, and now look where we're at. Thank God.
Yeah.
And Zack Ryder. But the finish of this matchup, pretty much, you think The Miz is gonna win it. He's the only one there. Nobody's gonna stop him, right? Then what happens? Freaking Zack Ryder knocks him off the ladder, and the last person you'd expect to win this match wins it. Zack Ryder wins the Intercontinental title, thus getting his WrestleMania moment. For me, this was like the highlight of the show, I think. And what a way to start a WrestleMania. That's how you do it.
Yeah. Yes. Great. Get a IC title win in your home state in front of your family. His dad comes in.
Yeah.
And then they ruin it the next night on Monday or the next.
Yeah, the next night, wasn't it? He
Monday?
lost to The Miz. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But
yeah,
still a good way to start the Mania. And I feel like the thing about this Mania is it starts strong and it just ends shitty.
Guys.
So your second matchup, I would say this is kind of a hidden gem matchup. It's a really good matchup. The debut of AJ Styles as he goes one-on-one against Chris Jericho. Which you remember that was a team, was what was it? Team Y2AJ?
Yes.
Can't forget it.
And
then of course they broke up. And
Y2J turns on his partner.
That's what Le Champion, the GOAT, does. But the only thing I will say about this matchup is I didn't necessarily agree with Jericho going over on Styles, but that's just nitpicking. I still love the matchup nonetheless. It's a really good matchup.
Funny. It's hilarious because I've watched interviews where Jericho has talked about this match, and so when you're a wrestler, I guess going on second's like an insult because it's usually like people are going to watch that first match and then go on their first break, and he was, I guess, because they were supposed to go on later in the night.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And then they
I knew this about the KO match, which we're going to talk about that at the next Mania. But yeah.
But yeah, it happened twice to him, where and so him and AJ were not happy about that.
I could understand, but boy, they delivered a hell of a matchup. Now, your next matchup's not that great, but you do get some WrestleMania moments. First of all, I think you get what is the greatest entrance in WrestleMania history. The New Day coming out of a giant cereal box dressed as Super Saiyans from Dragon Ball Z. Doesn't get much better than that, folks.
Facts. Like, I'm not even a Dragon Ball Z fan, and that entrance is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like, wow, they're coming out of a Bootios box. This is fucking awesome. And then going up against the League of Nations, which I know a lot of people probably don't even remember that group because they weren't around that long, but we're talking about Rusev, Sheamus, and Alberto Del Rio with King Barrett in their corner.
Yeah.
Now, the match...
Alberto Del Rio made our list.
Yeah, he did. He's a piece of shit. But anyways, the finish of this match, like the match itself's okay, but at the end of it, we'll never forget when the League of Nations is saying, no 3 men can beat us. And then out first you hear, I think I'm cute. You know, I'm sexy. And then I believe somewhere Phil Brooks was watching this and got really excited. Okay, that's the only joke I'm going to do on that tonight. I can't help it. Anyways, Shawn Michaels comes out. Now, here's the funny story about this. I think Vince had ribbed Shawn and told him to like bring his gear like he was gonna wrestle, like it was gonna be like kind of a smosh thing. And Shawn really put his gear on. And it's like, no, dude, you're not doing that. But Shawn Michaels comes out in his wrestling gear, and then following Shawn comes out Mick Foley, and then of course we are in Dallas, so the next person that comes out gets the big pop of the night, Stone Cold Steve Austin. All three of them come down the ring, open a can of whoop ass, and have a fun day. But the best part is at the end when the New Day is dancing with these legends. Yes, and they're dancing with Stone Cold, and Stone Cold's like doing this, and then of course he stuns Xavier Woods, and yeah. But
That's just what Stone Cold does.
What? Yes, indeed. But maybe the most monumental and important moment on this card. Let's talk about it, gentlemen. The triple threat match. Yes. And I will say probably the best match on the card. For the
This is my favorite entrance.
Yeah.
History.
Yeah.
Is Sasha Banks coming out with her
Sasha and Snoop Dogg. Fuck yeah.
Again,
so good.
Hip Hop Head. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're talking about the Women's Championship match, which finally we're getting away from retiring the Divas title, and we're going to the Women's Championship. You have Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, because they present that
Lynch.
belt earlier in the year. Or earlier in the night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got Charlotte, Becky Lynch, and Sasha Banks. And like Michael's saying, like Sasha chef kiss on her entrance, man. So fucking good. Great matchup, too. A hell of a matchup. A back and forth. You could go any way. Goes 16 minutes, but Charlotte does, in fact, win the inaugural WWE Women's Championship. But by far, it's the best match on this card. In my opinion, it saves the card. It's a damn good matchup.
And then I think this is the last time we actually saw the Battle Royal on the main card.
I think you're right. I don't think it made appearance again. It may. I don't know. Maybe. I can't remember.
This had legends in it.
Yeah, the only reason this was on the card was because, yes, like you say, had a lot of legends in it, including it also had Shaquille O'Neal was in this Battle Royal, the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. Yeah, Shaq comes out. But Baron Corbin getting a win, and you got to keep in mind, folks, this is Baron Corbin like from NXT, so kind of his first real call up to the main roster, and thus winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And then, of course, we got to talk about the jabroni beaten, pie eating, eyeball Trazen, The Rock, making an appearance on this show, and had a unique WrestleMania moment because he actually did end up having a match. He actually had his gear on underneath his like shirt and stuff and his pants, and he ended up wrestling Eric Rowan in a squash for 6 seconds. Oh well, it was a moment nonetheless. Nothing too fancy. And then, like, to kind of wrap it up here on this WrestleMania, like Michael's saying, a lot of pre-show matches. I think this is the year you got 3 of them. You had Kalisto against Ryback for the U.S. Championship. You had a 10-woman tag team match. And you did have a dream matchup in the Usos against the Dudley Boys. Dude, I want to see that on WrestleMania. I don't want to see that on the fucking pre-show. You kidding me?
Yeah. You have that on the pre-show, and then once again, you have a title on the pre-show.
Yeah. Agreed and agreed, my friend. But yeah, this WrestleMania, like I say, it's got... I would best sum this up as this WrestleMania has moments and a really great match. But outside that, it's got nothing else, like, in my opinion. Just saying. So, all right, let's move on here to WrestleMania 33 from Orlando, Florida. And boy,
I'm looking at the cover art of this one, and I already feel like what I know is coming.
Yep. And boy, oh boy, if you thought the WrestleMania 32 main event was bad, let me tell you something. Talk to me. Yeah, this WrestleMania main event, yikes. It's Roman Reigns against The Undertaker. And this was sad. It's very sad because, like, at this point, Taker needs to hang it up. Like, just this is the first time where you see Taker, and it's just like, okay, it's kind of been questionable the last couple years, but this was like, okay, this is it. Like this just needs to be done. Not a great matchup. Now the one thing I will say is the finish of this matchup, like at the end, what Taker does is cool, where he takes his like robe and his like the gloves off and the hat and closes WrestleMania. But at the same time, too, shit, we still get 2 more Taker matches at a Mania, and I think like a couple matches here and there after this. So
Yeah,
it's like
no. So that whole thing was
for nothing.
not necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, dude, really? And then once again, nobody gives a shit about Roman. It's like I'm tired of having him shoved down my throat. But I want to say this about Roman. I have to give credit where credit is due. If you look back on the night after at WrestleMania on Raw, in Roman's early days, probably one of the best interview segments he ever did, because he just comes out, the crowd is to open Raw the night after Mania. The crowd is just booing incessantly. He lets them boo for like 4 or 5 minutes or something, and then literally gets on the mic and says, "It's my yard now," and just throws the mic, and that's it. So
Yeah. No, here's literally one of his greatest promos.
yeah, and he only uttered a few words, but it is what it is. So, also you get a Universal Championship matchup with Michael. Correct me if I'm wrong on this. This is the first WrestleMania that has the defense of the Universal title, isn't it?
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you have the Universal Championship. Can you hear me? Okay, I just bumped my mic. I'm sorry. So you have your defense of your Universal Championship between Goldberg and Brock Lesnar, which honestly, this isn't a bad matchup. It's not as bad. And I only say that because I think going into it, I was like, oh, fucking great, another one of these. But like, it surprised me. Like, it's no classic by any means, but they did better than I thought they would.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
And maybe I'm being nice.
I
I
mean,
don't know.
That's not saying much.
That's true.
I mean,
It's like
they were given 4 minutes, almost 5,
Which really,
and
you
they made
think
them
about,
work.
which really, you think about it, it's like that's a typical Goldberg Lesnar match at this point. So
Yeah.
like 5 minutes or less, get your shit, get
5
out.
minutes is probably the most Goldberg's ever worked in his career.
Yeah. We're gonna play the hits, and then we're going home.
That's right. That's essentially what happened in this one. And then you also have your WWE Championship matchup with Bray Wyatt against Randy Orton. And on paper, this should have been a great one, but I think due to time constraints, it's got cut. And let's talk about the bullshit shenanigans with the slideshow, like PowerPoint presentations that were in the ring. You remember like the worms, like in the ring or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, and they did like a couple other things. It's just like, what the fuck are you doing here, WWE? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it should have been a good story, but it just, I don't know, it fell flat in my opinion. So, once again, we're talking here manias and some of these big marquee matchups, folks, and it's just like it's not
I
delivering.
will say on the pre-show that Austin Aries Neville match for the Cruiserweight title.
Oh, Chef's Kiss, that's a good one. Well, since you brought that up,
Beautiful.
let's talk the pre-show. And once again, another one where we got 3 matches. And like you say, you got a Cruiserweight title match. This may be the most insulting. You have a fucking
Now, I see-
Intercontinental Championship match on this show. And it's Dean
Yeah.
Ambrose against Baron Corbin. Why in the fuck is that on the pre-show?
Yeah.
Makes no damn sense whatsoever. Also on the pre-show, you have your Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, which was won by Mojo Rawley. That's right.
I don't even know who that
He's
is.
done so much with He's one of the ones that I like Mojo, so I feel like they could have done way more with Big Al.
Is that the EC3 guy?
No.
No.
He
No.
used to be a partners with Matt Cardona or Zack Ryder. They were the Hype Brothers.
Yeah.
Really, let's call a spade a spade. The only reason Mojo Rawley won this battle royal, Irish says it right there, because of his friendship with Rob Gronkowski, who was at ringside for this WrestleMania. So, yeah, just
he was. He's one of those guys who was football player turned wrestler.
Gotcha.
He had a few years in the NFL, played college ball, good friends with a lot of NFL guys.
Yep.
And I think that's what's insulting because you have two guys who know each other because of their football history. Like Baron and Mojo started at the same time in NXT. They're friends. That match could have been a banger if you
Oh,
put that on
I never thought
regular
about
show.
the. Yeah, I never thought about that connection. I knew they played in the league, but I didn't realize they came at the same time. That's interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. That would have been an interesting one, but oh well. And since we're talking shit, let's just continue just talking about the shit show that was WrestleMania 33. How about your mixed tag team matchup with John Cena and Nikki Bella against The Miz and Maurice? And John Cena with the WrestleMania moment where he proposes to his girlfriend, and the rest of that relationship lasted maybe 6 more months or something.
Yep. Yep.
Who fucking cares? I'm sorry. Just yeah.
It's the funniest thing in the world.
And then also you have not one but two multi-women's championship matches that are let's just get all the females on the card and not really give a shit about the matches themselves. You have the Raw Women's Championship with Bayley going up against Charlotte, Nia Jax, and Sasha Banks, where Bayley retained. And you have the six-pack challenge for the SmackDown Women's Championship with Alexa Bliss going against Becky Lynch, Carmella, Mickie James, Natalya, and Naomi. And Naomi would win the SmackDown Women's Championship, but just once again, just so much wasted potential. If I could sum WrestleMania 33 up, it's wasted potential. But folks, there are a couple of good things on this card, and we're going to talk
I
about
was
them
gonna
now.
say you have Seth versus Triple H, which in my
Yes.
opinion was one of the greatest storylines of that year.
Yeah,
'Cause you had
that
Seth
to me is
Right.
what made the show was Seth Rollins and Triple H. You know, the student and the teacher
Seth-
kind of going at it, and an incredible
Seth
matchup
finally
too.
leaves the corporation or whatever they were calling themselves, the
The
authority.
Yeah. Well, and also
Seth had showed up the night before at NXT and called him out.
Well, and you know what's interesting? I don't know if you remember this, Michael, but the build up to this, remember Seth had come back from his injury, but he seriously got injured again, and there was some serious doubt that he wasn't going to make it to WrestleMania. But he pulled it off, and they delivered and had a tremendous matchup at this WrestleMania. And I would go ahead and say this is probably Triple H's last true great one-on-one matchup in his career, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you say, it's a good story. It was a great matchup. Your opening matchup was really good too. You had AJ Styles going up against Shane McMahon, which is a really good opener. And anytime you get AJ in there, oh wait a minute, I think he wanted to tell with Randy, but Randy got pushed way too quickly to the world title. Okay, yeah. It worked out better ultimately. But yeah, your opener, great matchup. But you talk about wasted potential. Let's talk about it. The second matchup on this card. And this is what I remember what sent Jericho over the edge. Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens. One of the probably the best storyline going into this WrestleMania was their friendship ending. And you put it on second for the US title. Originally there was talks to have this be the Universal Championship match. Boy oh boy, would it have been so much better and this card would have been saved, but once again WWE fumbled the ball and fucked that up royally and just it's an okay matchup, but it's just like it fell on its face. And you're right, Irish. Fuck Vince for that.
But we also have to talk about probably one of the biggest pops in recent WrestleMania history. And
let's go. Yeah, go ahead, dude.
After being away for a few years, as a surprise entrant, the Hardys return to the WWE after being in Impact and Ring of Honor
that weekend.
Yeah,
I think they wrestled, or at least for Ring of Honor.
Literally 48 hours beforehand, they had wrestled Ring of Honor, had lost their tag team titles. They were the first tag team to win all 3 belts within a calendar year.
Yeah. Love them or hate them, man. The Hardy Boys is one of the greatest tag teams of all time. And yeah, that pop they got, unbelievable. As they were added to the ladder match that also saw Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson and Cesaro and Sheamus and Enzo Amore and Big Cass. Yeah. But that moment,
and the New Day doesn't even know what the hell is happening. Like
Who?
if you watch the 24, they're shocked. They didn't get told who would the surprise entrant was going to be. You hear that Hardy music, and then of course you have Matt, who's still in freaking broken Matt mode. So he's doing the deletion, even though he doesn't even have rights to the character.
Yeah.
Like he's still in a lawsuit over that, but he's not giving a shit.
Fuck
It's
it.
amazing.
Yeah. But that definitely was a WrestleMania moment, and probably the best moment on this WrestleMania. And the Seth Triple H match was great, but the rest of it just machi. I feel like we've talked enough about WrestleMania 33. So let's move on to WrestleMania 34 from New Orleans, Louisiana. And this WrestleMania, I feel like, has a lot of great moments and matches. But once again, what hurts it the most? It's the main event. Another lackluster main event. And guess who's in it, B-Roll? I'll give you one guess who one of the guys that's in this main event.
Oldberg?
No.
Roman Reigns?
There you go. We get Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar too. And this I would say was probably the worst one out of them, I think, because and it was kind of surprising because Brock ended up going over, but it was like I don't know. I don't know. Nobody once again, and they're trying to make Brock like the ultimate baby face, and now he's like calling out Vince McMahon because Brock's a part timer and stuff, and the crowd just does not give a shit. Just terrible main event. I think we lost him for a second, but he'll be back in here. So, but yeah, just the main event, utter and complete garbage. Sorry, not sorry. It's just like I don't want to see this again. Damn it, I really don't. But I mean, there's some good stuff on this Mania too. Once again, you talk about pre-shows, Michael. Like this one, you had 3 more pre-show matches. You had
Tour Battle Royals.
Tour Battle Royals now. So now you've got this is the year where they introduced the Women's Battle Royal, which was funny because back in the time when they were doing this, they were going to call it the Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal at first. And then I think and then they were like, no, let's not do that. So they just called it the Women's Battle Royal because of all of her controversy. But Naomi wins that one. You have Broken Matt Hardy win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. But you do have a great cruiserweight title match.
That match is one of my favorite matches of that second generation of the cruiserweight title. Then bringing back that cruiserweight title match. This match, Mustafa Ali versus Cedric, it shows both of these two at the top of the game. They're still Mustafa Ali's getting to this day underutilized. This match shows what he can do. It's unfair.
I agree, dude. I totally agree. Let's talk about some highlights of this WrestleMania. I think you have a tremendous opener, the triple threat for the Intercontinental Championship with Seth Rollins, The Miz, and Finn Balor. And I have to say this, loved the Seth Rollins entrance because I'm a huge Game of Thrones guy, and him coming out as like the Night King with the contacts and stuff, dude. Fuck yeah.
All right, you see, I've never seen Game of Thrones, so I've never gotten that reference.
There you go. Now you do, man. So the Night King is like essentially like the leader of like all the zombies on Game of Thrones. Like there's this group of or they call them like the dead or the night walkers or something like that. But that was a pretty badass entrance though. But the match itself's really good, and you ended up having Seth win his first Intercontinental title, I believe, is on this WrestleMania. I tell you, one of the better women's matches I can think of in WrestleMania history. How about the
Asuka?
Yeah, Asuka and Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's Championship. The only thing I would say I may not agree with because I just wasn't ready was the end of Asuka's long illustrious winning streak as she would lose to Charlotte Flair. But yeah, I was a little disappointed to see that happen. But hey, man, it is what it is, right? So it was still a great matchup, though. I mean, I guess if she's going to lose to anybody, I guess if it's Charlotte, that's okay. I mean, because Charlotte's Charlotte's the queen, right? I mean,
Pretty much.
but tremendous matchup nonetheless. I was a little surprised. I don't know how you feel about this. Were you surprised with the placement of it on this card? It was the second match.
Yes.
I really
Yeah,
thought this
no,
was
that
like a
def-
main event going on towards the end of the
Yeah.
show.
Yes. Right before the main event, or like 2 matches before the main event. Yeah, no, this definitely should have been. Now, especially watching it now, oh yeah, that match should have been way later in the card. They probably just didn't
Absolutely.
expect the girls to do a match like that.
No, I don't think so. Also, you talk about a tremendous moment. How about the return of Daniel Bryan, who was forced to retire a couple years prior due to concussion issues, and didn't think we'd ever get to see him again. But here he is, WrestleMania 34. And how ironic is it that it's in the Superdome, where arguably the greatest moment of his career ever happened at WrestleMania 30? And here he
Yes.
is back
Teaming with
making his return.
Shane.
Yep, teaming up with Shane McMahon to go up against Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens.
Ironically, who we are going to say this year.
Yeah. Welcome back, Mr. B-Roll.
Thank you.
Whatever.
But yeah, you're right. And boy, you talk about a role reversal, because they were super mega heels going into this.
Yeah.
But now they're the baby faces, and it just goes to show you how talented those guys are. But yeah, so the return of Daniel Bryan, great to see. Whether you love her or hate her, still, like, I thought this was kind of a cool moment. Nia Jax winning the Raw Women's Championship against Alexa Bliss. Which
Yes.
that storyline was. I actually enjoyed that storyline where Alexa was kind of picking on her, and being like the mean girl to her and stuff, making fun of her weight and stuff.
I have bitter feelings about that storyline because of the stories you heard of Mickie James actually having that happen to her in real life when she was first in the WWE.
Well, that's a good point. Yeah.
So it's just like, we're because that she goes on record of saying, like, when she first got to the WWE, all the divas were, skinny blonde chicks, and she was, not, and she got bullied a lot.
Well, that's a good point. That is a good point.
So that storyline just on TV good, but it's just like, if you know, you know. It's
kind of hard pill to swallow. I get, which is true. But how about this tremendous WWE Championship matchup with AJ Styles against Shinsuke Nakamura? And I loved Shinsuke's entrance, man. Oh my God, with Nita Strauss like playing him in. Maybe you talked about the Snoop Dogg entrance. That's great. But to me, this is probably my favorite is this entrance, man.
True.
Yeah, I mean, man, it's so good. And the match itself was great. Now, granted, it doesn't live up to Wrestle Kingdom hype, but it still was a good matchup. Just really was hoping Nakamura would go over and win the WWE title, but it didn't happen. It's okay. It is what it is. And then him turning heel with the nut shot to AJ Styles at the end. And I will say this, we've been talking AJ here. If you look, and we're going to get into some really good ones too, like AJ has a tremendous one of WrestleMania matches. Like he doesn't really have a bad one except for one we'll talk about here in a little bit. But AJ, yeah, if you look at it so far, he's faced Chris Jericho, he's faced Shane McMahon, and now Shinsuke Nakamura. But let's run down the rest of this card. So kind of some matches to get people on the card. A triple threat tag team match for the WWE SmackDown tag titles with the Bludgeon Brothers, Harper and Rowan, going over on the Usos and the New Day. You also had
that weird Cena Taker match.
The weird Cena Taker matchup, because it was like they were going to do it and they weren't going to do it. Which once again, this just goes to show you Taker should not be wrestling at this point. Weird how they did that too. So it's like Taker is like, or Cena is out in the crowd. What's up, Deontay? How you doing, brother? Hope you're having an amazing night. Thank you for joining us.
Well, Deontay, yeah. Like Cena's calling him out, and he's like sitting in the crowd.
watching Mania. A referee comes over and tells him, "Hey, something, something," and then Cena's running to the back. And then later in the night, Cena comes out, and then Elias comes out, and yeah, pretty much you think that's the end of it. Then you hear the dong, dong, and the Undertaker comes out. So, yeah.
Hero, really? We're gonna laugh at Dom? You child.
Well, then he said come, and I didn't laugh at that. So,
Oh, I did. Dong, come. Okay, sorry, we're not an XPW show. Oh, anyways,
Oh, did you hear about last night? God.
yeah, we're not talking about that. Yikes. Anyways, so let's run down the rest of this WrestleMania card as well. Some matches just to get people on the card. A fatal four-way for your United States Championship with Randy Orton defending against Bobby Roode, Rusev, and Jinder Mahal. Jinder Mahal would go over and win the U.S. title. Okay, whatever. Braun Strowman and winning the Raw Tag Team Championship from Cesaro and Sheamus
with
and
Nicholas.
With Nicholas, yes,
A
Nicholas,
Hall
little,
of Famer. Nicholas
Yeah.
is a Hall of Famer.
yes.
First ballot.
So, in case you don't know, Braun Strowman went out into the crowd and picked a random fan, which happened to be a 8-year-old boy, I
Referee.
believe, called Nicholas. Which
Yeah,
actually it was
referee's son.
one of the referee's sons there at the time in the WWE. But still, though, goes down the record books that Braun Strowman and Nicholas would win the tag team championship at
The kid is a Hall of
WrestleMania.
Famer. Put him in the Hall of Fame this year.
He's a blue chipper. And then finally rounding out this WrestleMania, we got to talk about the WrestleMania debut, the in-ring debut of Ronda Rousey, as she makes her debut teaming up with Kurt Angle to go up against Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. And I'm going to go ahead and say this, Triple H and Stephanie McMahon in one of the stupidest fucking entrances I've ever seen at a WrestleMania, where they come out on the oversized fucking tricycle bikes thinking they're badasses, and it's like, no, you're not. Just stop it. Stop it with this shenanigans. Dum 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 dum. But the match itself's not bad. I mean, it's a pretty decent matchup. Interesting story. And then, of course, Ronda and Kurt going over. But WrestleMania 34, I would say it's better than 32 and 33. But that main event, not so good. Well, we got more WrestleManias to talk about here to come, but I said come again. But anyways, it's that time of the show. How about we get into another plug-a-palooza, Mr. B-Roll?
That is right. And as you can tell, and as you saw earlier, we have an action-packed week full of wrestling coming to you on Cole TV. It's WrestleMania week, y'all. It's the best season of them all. But I believe we did tease a little something earlier, saying we were going to give a little sneak peek about our brand new series called PW60 that we are ever so excited about.
That's right. And we've got all sorts of different Wrestle Talk content creators, and we're actually going to show you one of those content creators from their segment that will be on our show as a sneak peek. So check this out.
I already know what it is. It is your Tribal Queen tidbit of the week from Tribal Queen Brie. So, it was reported this week that everybody's favorite, undisputed United States champion, A-Town Down, is going to be going up against John Cena at Mania in the first match of night one. Let me tell you guys something. A-Town Down is going to retain his title, remain the United States champion for a long time, and he is going to kick John Cena out of that ring into retirement. So that way there's no more once-a-year matches popping up here and there. No. A-Town Down got it in the bag. And that is your Tribal Queen tidbit of the week.
There you go. Your Tribal Queen tidbit of the week. You can see that and so much more on Pro Wrestling 60, which will be debuting tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, here on Cole TV. But it's an awesome show. You guys are all going to love it. Really excited for it.
He's going to lose that title to Von Wagner, Brie.
There you go, dude. And like I say, that's just a part of our huge WrestleMania week here on Cole TV. And of course, we got to mention the merch. You can get some of our merch, and we've got chubby shirts now available over on sweetdollfacecreations.bigcartel.com. You can check that out over there. So yeah, so what am I not seeing with Theory yet? I like Theory. I think Theory's over. I enjoyed it, and I think he's
love
gonna go
Theory.
over on
I like Theory.
over on Cena. So, but yeah,
Freaking, he's been a lot better since Vince has left. And
Yeah,
he's
I
got
mean,
Vince's,
I'm A-Town down all the way. So
that's right. That's right. A-Town down indeed. Well, gentlemen, let's get right back into it.
Ironically, no pun intended, I have a theory on why that match is going to go on first.
Oh, well, you know
Squash?
what?
I don't think it'll be a squash. I think Cena will give him a match, but I think this is Cena's swan song. I think they're going to give Cena a moment of saying goodbye to fans.
That's interesting.
Maybe put the boots in the middle of the ring. Because let's be real. Cena's at the point where he's doing the TVs and the movies and the commercials. He doesn't need the wrestle.
Oh, that's true. I don't know. It could happen. It could happen. We'll just have to tune in Saturday night to see. But let's get right back into our WrestleMania discussion here. And now, B-Roll, are you ready to talk about the longest WrestleMania in history?
Yeah, I
clocked
mean,
in at over 7 fucking hours.
It's so long, I can't even see the full card on my iPad.
Yeah, so counting the pre-show, 16 whole matches on this one, folks. And 4 of them would be on the pre-show. But once again, let's get into WrestleMania 35. Let's talk about that pre-show. So, first and foremost, let's talk about wait a minute. Cena's going to win so Joey White can get over on Raw. That's interesting. I don't know. We'll see.
What?
Yeah. So 4 matches on the pre-show, and like you said, yeah, a cruiserweight championship match to kick us off. Tony Nese against Buddy Murphy. You had Carmella winning the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal. Braun Strowman winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And you also had a nice moment with Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder defeating the Revival for the Tag Team Championships, the Raw Tag Team Championship. And Mr. B-Roll, in case you didn't know, yes, the Revival, that is FTR.
That one I did know.
Okay. But a cool moment, because if you look back at it, like Kurt Hawkins, what was it? He was on that streak of like 200 plus losses or something, and he finally got like the pinfall in this. Yeah. And the fact that it was in New York. So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
what
but
are we down the block from where they both train?
Yeah. But let's first and foremost, we got to talk about on this card what it's most known for. It's known for making history and something I thought maybe we would see, but I never thought we would see it at this point in time frame. This is the first time in WrestleMania history where women closed the show in the main event. And arguably the hottest act at the time, the man herself, Becky Lynch, going up against Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair in a ultimate unification for the SmackDown and Raw Women's Championship. Michael, what were your thoughts going into this Mania main event?
I was happy for the women. It was much deserved and a great match.
I agree. I think the thing that hurts this match the most, is just the fact that this was such a brutally long WrestleMania. Like, I think that crowd was just so fucking exhausted because this match goes on, I think, at like midnight or past midnight or something like that. And it's just like, it's so wore out. It's just like,
I remember fighting off sleep trying to watch this match.
Yeah.
I'm on the West Coast.
And it's a good matchup. It's a good matchup. And of course, Becky Lynch getting her moment at the end, and ultimately everybody going home happy because the man has won the championships. But we got to talk about another WrestleMania moment, and this card's got some moments. Maybe the two of the top 5 most emotional WrestleMania moments. But we got to talk about it. You talk about things organically happen. Let's talk about Kofi Mania, the WWE Championship matchup that really wasn't even scheduled. Like, if you look back in the history of this, folks, like, literally, it was like the build up for the Elimination Chamber, the pay per view the month before. It was supposed to be like Mustafa Ali kind of in this spot. Not necessarily at
Yeah.
WrestleMania, but challenging in the Elimination Chamber. He got hurt. They put Kofi in, and they put him in like a gauntlet match on SmackDown that he went like 40 or 50 plus minutes or something. And it's just like the world all of a sudden was like, oh yeah, Kofi is really fucking good. Like they knew he was all along, but and then just the way that he got put in this matchup, it was like the crowd. You talk about the crowd taking over a show and like a storyline, man. That's exactly what happened here. And then Kofi going up against Daniel Bryan, an incredible matchup. And I'll just never forget the ending of this when Kofi wins. Just how the New Day is in tears that Kofi Kingston.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a bigger moment than just like, yeah, the New Day getting a huge win, Kofi getting a huge win, a worker getting a huge win. I mean, this is the first real like African American like winning the WWE title on the grandest stage of them all at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what certifies this moment for me and how big this was is the video that went viral like a couple days afterwards, and it was at a bar, and it's Shad, JTG, MVP, and someone else. And
Yeah, and they're literally
and they were all
in
hanging
Shelton,
out,
and they're literally in tears watching this.
and they're crying. And MVP and Shad or JTD, are
Yeah.
like hug each other.
It's just an incredible,
Yeah,
heartwarming
Chad,
moment.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, it's right up there with like Miss Elizabeth and the Macho Man reuniting at WrestleMania. As far as like emotional moments, just Shawn Michaels' boyhood dream coming true, and this. I mean, it's just an incredible moment. Just such a heartwarming moment. And dare I say, I don't think anybody truly ever really deserved to win the WWE Championship out of WrestleMania more so than Kofi did, because Kofi was just
Yeah.
a phenomenal worker, you know, and it just never really got his due. And it was like finally like,
And
oh my God.
he was supposed to so many times and got screwed over by backstage politics
Yeah.
and certain wrestlers who I don't want to disrespect on camera.
Right.
And
But
then like,
yeah.
and then you have like the character that he's going against, because that's my favorite Daniel Bryan character in the WWE is that
Yes. The Save the Earth.
yeah, with the belt, and he's Eric Rowan's his bodyguard, and
Yep.
it's all
Yeah,
about
that was a
vegan.
fun
Phenomenal.
run for him. Yeah. Yeah, that was a great, like I say, great matchup, great moment. And this WrestleMania, it's long, but you do have some good stuff in between. How about your opener? This was kind of a shocker. Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. And I love how pretty much Paul Heyman comes out and just says, all right, if we're not opening this, we're getting the hell out of here. And pretty much like just demands the match go on first. And Seth goes over in like less than 3 minutes on Brock. It's crazy.
Yeah. You have the husband open the Mania. You have the wife end the Mania.
Which that's never happened
Cool.
before. But pretty cool footnote when you think about it. We were talking about matchups as he goes one-on-one against the Viper Randy Orton at this WrestleMania, which is another great hidden gem matchup, I would say. Now you also on this card too get this matchup. I never quite understood this with like the build of it and stuff, but we're talking about Shane McMahon and the Miz. Like the Miz is the babyface, the white meat babyface, and Shane McMahon is the asshole. Just like, it was
He's
okay.
trying to overpower Raw. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is, remember at that time when Shane McMahon was doing the gimmick of like, announce me as the best in the world like 3 or 4 times. Just, I don't know. I never really cared for that run, and I never really cared for this feud, to be quite honest with you. It just wasn't for me. Um,
And then you got the weird Triple H Batista
oh,
evolution.
you're reading my mind. Are you
Ugh.
ready for a hot take? Are you ready for a hot take? I'm going to give you a hot take.
Yes.
I actually like that match. I know a lot of people shit on it and hate it. I actually like the Batista Triple H match.
I like the match. It's the storyline going into it. Like him attacking Flair and like interrupting the evolution, like reunion.
But Michael, it's because you need to give him what he wants. He needs give him what he wants. Can you give him what he wants, Triple H?
Give me what I
One
want.
of the worst promos ever. That is one of the most disturbing things when he's dragging Flair by the shirt.
Yeah. Okay, Irish, I'm glad you said that because I have opinion on this. I don't think that's truly what Batista wanted. I honestly think Batista wanted several things, including he wanted Triple H's Netflix password. I think he also wanted to use Triple H's Costco membership. And I also think he wanted Triple H to take him to Build-A-Bear. That's what I think Batista truly wanted out of Triple H, in addition with this match. Oh, yeah, that too, probably. So, but anyways. But one spot in this matchup I do find kind of comical, but I also enjoyed as well, is you remember when, like, Triple H takes the pliers and pulls the nose ring out of Batista's nose?
Yeah.
And just the way
Yeah.
Batista sells the fuck out of that. Oh man, it's a guilty pleasure match. I will admit. So, and this would be Batista's last matchup in the WWE, but it wouldn't only be that wouldn't be the only competitor on this card to have their last matchup. And let's just go ahead and say this too. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Michael, but doesn't this be Triple H's last one-on-one match? I think he worked some tag matches, but I think this would be his actual last one-on-one matchup, at least at a WrestleMania.
Well, you know what we could say though?
What's that?
If you don't know, you can always
Wikipedia that shit. Because everybody gets one.
Or just stay tuned for the rest of the episode because we're going to talk about the rest of the WrestleMania. So there you
go. Also, making his last appearance, the retirement of Kurt Angle as he was go out against Baron Corbin.
Again.
I mean, yeah. No. I don't hate Baron Corbin. I just don't feel like he should have been Angle's last opponent.
I do.
Oh, you do? Okay. But yeah, you got.
There's just something about Baron Corbin. He's never been able to get over.
Well, you're not wrong there, sir.
And again, yeah, really, a legend like Angle, and he's retiring, and you put him with a guy who has failed at everything you've given him. When you have a roster at this time that is filled with people who like actually have a history with Angle.
This is true. You're not wrong, my friend. All right, let's run down the rest of this WrestleMania card. You had a Fatal 4-Way Tag Team matchup for your SmackDown Tag Team Championships as the Usos would defend against The Bar, Cesaro and Sheamus. Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura, because, yeah, we remember that tandem. And, oh, yeah, let's also remember this tandem, too. Aleister Black and Ricochet.
Hey, I like that tag team better than Braun Strowman and Ricochet.
And Braun Strowman and Nicholas, too. Just saying. But yeah, you're right. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. Also, you had another 4-way for the Women's Tag Team Championship.
Get them on the card.
But you do get a cool moment with the Iconics winning the Tag Championship by defeating the Boston Hug Connection, Nia Jackson, Tamina, and Beth Phoenix and Natalya. You get a squash matchup with Samoa Joe defeating Rey Mysterio and retaining his United States Championship. You do get an Intercontinental Championship matchup with the Demon Finn Balor defeating Bobby Lashley for the IC Championship. And you also would have a Roman Reigns matchup on this card that didn't suck. Roman Reigns against Drew McIntyre. But that is your WrestleMania 35 card, a super duper duper long show. fucking took forever. But it's okay, folks, because now we are entering into the era of where WrestleMania goes 2 nights. And this WrestleMania is historic, but it's historic for unfortunate reasons. Let's talk about it. WrestleMania 36. Now, you got to keep in mind, folks, this is right when the pandemic started, and this is the very first event that was affected by the pandemic, because this would be the first, and let's hope only, WrestleMania that would have a total of 0 fans in attendance, because they had to change things up drastically, as it was scheduled to be at Tampa Bay, but like say everything got shut down in the world and WWE had to scramble. And this also too, I would say this is the only WrestleMania that's taped. Because they literally like taped all of the matches, I think, like on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, essentially. And they taped them all at the Performance Center. So this is just kind of one of those WrestleManias where it was just like thrown. I mean, they had some good build up to some matches on this. Yeah, you're right, Irish. It's COVID mania. That's exactly the best way to summarize this one. Michael, like, what was your whole thought process on when all this crap happened and it was like, okay, we're still going to do Mania, but we're going to do it like at the Performance Center? What was like your first? What first come to mind when they announced that?
It was like, I understand, like, it sucks, but like, especially at that time, you got to do what you got to do. I'm just happy they did something. Like in April without Mania would have just sucked.
I agree. And I mean, at the time, we just needed some entertainment. And I will say this: every single man and woman that performed on this card, they did a hell of a job. A hell of a
They
job.
showed out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially for someone like me, I mean, you guys know the situation I was in living in that facility. So yeah, entertainment was a must. So I was happy it just went on.
I agree. I was kind of happy with it too. Like, it just was, I don't know. It just, for what it could have been and what it was like it did the thing though, is what wrestling and what like film, comic books, whatever you're into, it took you away from the real world for a couple hours. So this is the first WrestleMania that goes 2 nights. The one thing let's talk about there's a lot of unfortunate things, I'd say, of course, but the biggest unfortunate thing here is Drew McIntyre being robbed his moment, man. Drew McIntyre, I would say, was probably the MVP of the WWE during the pandemic era.
Very much a fact.
This is his crowning moment in his career. He goes over on Brock Lesnar, wins the WWE title. But just the main event itself, and you could tell too, it's like, okay, Lesnar's like, all right, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna do my get him over and get the fuck out of here. Because it's so bad, in fact, that they actually, believe it or not, now this didn't air on WrestleMania, but the night after on Raw, they actually did have a main event after the match. And this is going to shock you, folks. Would you believe the last match, technically in the order of WrestleMania 36, was Drew McIntyre defending the WWE title against The Big Show?
I would believe it because Wikipedia says so.
That's right. There you go. But so yeah, I think just to get something out of it, just because of for shock value, and it was like he was there, and like, yeah. But let's just kind of break these cards down as we go night by night. So let's start with night one. You start off with a classic, great women's tag team title matchup with Kabuki Warriors defending their tag titles.
Phenomenal.
Yes, and I love this tag team as well. They went against Alexa Bliss and I almost said Daphne. I'm sorry, Nikki Cross. Thinking Daphne.
Daphne, really?
Yeah.
The dead woman. Like, that's not nice.
No, I didn't mean it like, yeah, I meant like her character, because I was thinking like Nikki Cross, and I mean she was still alive when this happened. But anyways, yeah. No, I was thinking like character. Yeah, I was thinking character wise, because their characters kind of similar. But anyways, so yeah, your opener matchup was that. Kabuki Warriors dropping the belts to Alexa and Nikki. I thought it was a great opener. It was a pretty good matchup. Kind of set the tone and the pace. Then you get Elias against King Corbin. Who gives a shit? Uh,
He said it.
your Raw Women's Championship matchup, this was built up to be a big matchup, but boy, this one, I think this really with
Did
no
not
crowd.
deliver at all.
No, and it killed the push of Shayna Baszler. Because Shayna Baszler against Becky Lynch, and Becky Lynch would go over. But just once again, it's just kind of like, who cares? Sorry, not sorry. Sami Zayn and Daniel Bryan for the Intercontinental Championship. A decent
This whole
matchup.
era is weird because you had Sami Zayn, he had that friendship with
Cesaro and
Cesaro
Shinsuke.
and Shinsuke. And Daniel Bryan was getting trailed around by Drew Gulak, which I think they should have done more with because those two are phenomenal.
I agree. Pretty decent
yeah.
IC championship matchup for what it was. I mean, it's not. Let's say this: there's a significant amount of matches on this show, and I mean this is no disrespect, but there's a significant amount of matches on this show where it just kind of feels like, okay, I could have seen this on Raw. But I think but once again, folks, you got to keep in mind this is the first time they're performing on a big show in front of no crowd either. So this is a huge adjustment. So what they had to deal with
was on the main card.
Well, there's that too. At least it was. You're absolutely right, my friend. Triple threat ladder match for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. John Morrison. Now, originally, actually, this was supposed to be the New Day, the Usos, and John Morrison and the Miz. But I think Miz may have tested for COVID or something like that. So they had to turn it into a singles. So it was just a mem from each team. So you had John Morrison. And then Jimmy Uso from the Usos and Kofi from the New Day. But John Morrison would retain in a pretty good ladder match, I would say, for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. Now, here, in my opinion, is the best match on this night of WrestleMania. Let me rephrase that. The best match in ring on this night of WrestleMania. Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins in a no DQ match.
Yes, phenomenal.
Fucking great match. I would say a hidden gem matchup. And I'll never forget the spot with KO jumping off the WrestleMania sign, going through the announce table on Seth. Awesome moment. But let's talk about it.
We get the 24/7 title segments with Rob.
Yeah, that happened all throughout. And yes, Rob Gronkowski was the host of this WrestleMania. Can't forget about that.
He had just signed with Tampa Bay because of freaking Brady. Yeah, son of a bitch.
Terrific Tom.
F. Tom Brady.
Aw.
Facts.
Speaking of F people, how about this Universal title match? Who fucking cares?
Can we?
Bill Goldberg against Braun Strowman? Fuck.
This is the FM match, right? This is the FM match.
Well, B-roll, you got to keep in mind, originally this was supposed to be Goldberg against Roman Reigns, but Roman, with his health issues, he decided not to compete during this time frame, which I respect, rightfully so. Or was it really the fact that he knew he was going against fucking Goldberg? But anyways, terrible matchup. Braun Strowman wins the Universal title. I could give two shits. But I think what this WrestleMania is most known for is the cinematic matches, and we got our first cinematic match of the night here at this night one of WrestleMania 36. And we're talking about the matchup between The Undertaker and AJ Styles, the Boneyard match. And I'm going to go ahead and say it. In my opinion, I think this is the best cinematic match I've ever seen on any wrestling show. I love the Delete versus the Decay and Impact and all that, but this one makes sense. Very the elements of the cinematography is awesome. The music that was involved in this was great, and the fact that it's the Taker, and this is Undertaker's last match, and with his circumstances, this was about the best way you're going to send him off. And kudos to AJ Styles.
Motorcycle Taker. Mm-hmm. He rides off. That's my favorite Taker. I know that's a hot take. Yeah.
Interesting.
So I'm a big Limp Bizkit fan. So him
such
coming
good
out the roller,
shit. Yeah, I
So,
ain't mad at it.
yeah.
Shout out to Extreme
So-
League, buddy. How you doing tonight? Yeah, dude. Yeah, and that's a good point too, Irish. Yeah, literally 12 hours of filming that match. Like, and I think
That's
Taker even
fucking
said,
crazy.
like at the beginning of it is like where he punches his hand through the window or whatever it was, and he cuts himself up too. And if you
Yeah.
watch if you watch that the last, what was it called, The Last Ride or whatever, that documentary they
Yeah,
did
The
on
Last Ride.
Taker, I think they mentioned too, he like right around this time frame too, his brother ended up passing away like a day or two like before or after this
Yeah,
happened.
he was going through a lot of family shit. His
Yeah.
dad wasn't in good health. His brother had passed. It was
Yeah.
he was going through some shit.
Yeah, let's jump forward and let's talk about night 2. We've already talked about the Drew McIntyre winning the WWE title, but we mentioned cinematic matches. Let's get into this cinematic matchup. The Firefly Funhouse, The Fiend against John Cena. And boy, this is complete polar opposites of what the fucking Boneyard match was. Michael, what was your thoughts on this match, if we can call it a match?
Well, this is complete trash. Like, I love both these guys, and this is
Fever
an
dream.
asterisk on both these boys' careers.
Yeah, because it's not really a match. It's more so like a psychological storytelling of like Bray Wyatt getting into the mind of John Cena and kind of running down his career. You know what I thought was the weirdest segment of this whole thing that made no sense? What the fuck was with the NWO stuff? Like, that didn't tie into either of their careers.
I think that was more of a Bray was comparing Cena to 80s and 90s Hogan.
Oh, is that what that was? Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just thought maybe NWO merch sales were down, so they were trying to drive up the sales for those shirts again.
For life, baby. I guess maybe that's what it was. Hell, who knows, right?
There was always those stories of like Cena was putting wrestlers down, and he was, maybe using creative control and using
like
his
squashing it. Okay, like Hogan. Okay.
Yeah, because there was the stories about the Nexus situation at SummerSlam.
Yeah,
And, like,
that's
he had,
true.
He had like thrown away Alex Riley's career. And there was, I think that
Oh,
was
yeah.
one of
lot of controversy there, but
a lot of similarities with Hogan and Cena in certain people's eyes.
There you go. Well, let's talk about the rest of this card and what may have been the best matchup of the weekend. Let's talk about your opener matchup. Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair for the NXT Women's Championship in a classic matchup. And boy, you talk about parallel into like the storyline telling long term. Here we are, WrestleMania 39, and we're getting potentially the main event of night 1 is going to be Charlotte against Rhea for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Yeah. But phenomenal opener, man. Phenomenal. Also, you had on this one, there's a couple other fun ones, I think. I really, and I feel like because of the circumstances of this WrestleMania, it's the only real reason it kind of got some like shine on it. I love the Otis storyline. Otis and Dolph Ziggler and the whole Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. I like that storyline. I loved it. And then Otis going over on Dolph to get the girl.
I love how we put Otis in the wildest storylines, and it gets over so well. This dude is phenomenal.
Yeah,
even
Otis,
like the stuff he's doing now.
Yeah.
What if the payoff we get from the stuff he's doing now? It's like Mandy Rose comes back and it's like, he's my man.
You know what? That is fucking great.
I would love it. Sign me up. Take my money now.
This comedic stuff, and I've made this comparison in a few podcasts I've done. His stuff now that he's doing reminds me a lot of Chris Farley on SNL.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Yeah, That's a very healthy comparison. I could totally see that, dude.
Masterpiece.
Beautiful, man. It's fucking beautiful, man. But yeah, and it all started with the worm. Okay, I got a hot take for you because people shat all over this matchup. I love it personally, and I did rewatch it over the weekend. Honestly, I really like the Last Man Standing match with Edge against Randy Orton.
Oh,
I
this match is great. The storyline is phenomenal.
Yeah, I don't know why people were bitching about it sucking, man. Like they delivered, especially with like a WrestleMania they had this to work with.
Yeah.
Dude,
the only thing I bitch about on this Mania is the storyline with Lashley and Lana. Then putting Rusev in a I'm not gonna say the word kind of relationship. And
you know what? It's revenge for fucking in the tank. There you go. But no, so yeah, let's talk about it. The Bobby Lashley against Aleister Black. This to me just felt like no offense to those guys, love them both, but it felt like a Monday Night Raw matchup to me. Cool that they're on the card, but no, seriously, Edge and Orton, great storyline, phenomenal matchup. I love that matchup. You have the Raw Tag Team Championship on the line as well, with the Street Profits going up against Angel Garza and Austin Theory. What the fuck?
Which, by the way, I forgot that was a tag team at one point.
Right, exactly. It's like, really?
And with Zelina Vega?
Yep, that happened, brother. And then the Fatal 5-Way match for the SmackDown Women's Championship with Bayley defending against Sasha Banks, Lacey Evans, Naomi, and Tamina, and ultimately retaining her championship. But I think WrestleMania 36, with what they had to deal with, they did as good as they could. And Michael, you hit the nail on the head earlier. Like, we were in some dark times, so it was nice to kind of get away. Even though the crowd wasn't there and stuff, it was still nice to get, your minds off things. And it'd be a rough year. Because remember, this is also the same era where we get the Thunderdome and stuff. But let's fast forward and let's talk about WrestleMania 37 and the importance of this WrestleMania. Because, folks, this would be the first WrestleMania that would be the first event where in over a year where fans were allowed to attend. So it's like a sign of things slowly starting to come back around.
No rules during this era.
Yay!
Thank God for Florida not giving a fuck.
Go Florida.
well, here's some interesting news for you here, Mr. B-Roll. This WrestleMania was originally actually supposed to be where we're at WrestleMania this year. This was actually supposed to be in Los Angeles. But because of COVID and everything and still the restrictions, they decided to do it in Tampa Bay. And they already had committed to Dallas the year later. So thus, that's why we're getting WrestleMania 39 is taking place in California. So there you go. But this WrestleMania, like I say, this is the first one to come back with fans. Once again, we're still going with the two-night concept, but I will say this. I think this is where they're starting to get the two-night concept right, because it's like there's only a total of I think 7 matches on each night, pretty much.
Yeah.
And like it gives you room to breathe. This was good. I enjoyed both of these nights.
And I can't remember, were they at full capacity or was it just like 75%?
Well, I think they were still at it was limited. It wasn't like normal numbers because there was only 40,000 there or something like that.
Yeah.
So, but
it was like 50 to 75%.
Yeah, something like that. But also, too, believe it or not, this is the first WrestleMania ever to have a rain delay, because there have been a lot of WrestleManias over the years past that had been outdoors, but this is the first time where Mother Nature was involved. But I think it actually helped a little bit.
What happens when you have a Mania in Florida during hurricane season?
That's true, too. But I remember, Michael, do you remember this on Peacock where they did backstage segments and interviews, and it's like you could tell they weren't planned. It was just them being what they should be, professional wrestlers. Let them cut promos. It was beautiful. It was nice not to see a scripted bullshit promo. But let's get into night one. Your opening matchup, how appropriate. The WWE Universe, the very first person to come out is the MVP of the pandemic era, Drew McIntyre as he challenges Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship. Great opening matchup. Great WWE title matchup, I think. Kind of was hoping Drew would win it, but at the same time, too, just for that moment for him to finally have in front of the fans. But wasn't quite ready to see Bobby Lashley lose it yet. So I was okay with this matchup. I thought it was a good, decent opener. What'd you think, Michael?
I love this opener. Phenomenal. I think having the title, the championship on first in that situation where, I mean, we haven't seen fans in a while. They deserve that. I'm like you. I think Drew should have won, but Bobby was so freaking hot that it made sense for him to retain.
Agreed. Agreed. After that, we get Natalya and Tamina winning a tag team turmoil matchup, also featuring the Riot Squad. You also had Lana and Naomi. Or was this Lana and no, I think it was Lana and Naomi. And also you had the makeshift team of Corey Graves' wife. Why can't I think of her name? Carmella. Carmella and Billy Kay. So
and Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose.
Oh, so it was, and Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose was in. Okay, that's who it was. Because I remember this too. Because isn't this the Mandy Rose where she falls on the stage because of the rain and slips?
Yes.
Moment. Yeah, which was kind of a bummer. But anyways, and Randy Orton in a dick move the next night would like kind of tease doing this spot when he comes out because it's Randy Orton. He's a dick, but I love Randy Orton nonetheless.
Yeah.
But
he's a known dick, and he'll tell you he's a dick.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
It's like,
Exactly. It's like acceptance. So yeah, I mean, and the winners would go on the next night to challenge for the women's tag team championship. Just a moment to get some ladies on the card. It's fine. It is what it is. How about this one-on-one matchup though? Cesaro against Seth Rollins. Great matchup.
yes.
Phenomenal chemistry between these two, and Cesaro going over, man. You remember this time frame, Michael, where it was like, oh my God, WWE's finally going to do it. They're finally going to push Cesaro like he truly deserves, and then they fuck it up yet again. And you wonder why he went to AEW. Just saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was that match. Now, we were talking about AJ Styles. He's had some phenomenal run, but guess what? It comes to an end at this WrestleMania because it's like Vince is like, hey, pal, I need you to get in there with my new pet project. Oh, I love this guy. Just my nipples start lactating when I think about him. I'm talking about Omos, pal, the Nigerian giant. He's like the modern day Giant Gonzalez. Yeah, do it for me. It'll be good shit, pal.
And what he doesn't understand is that's not a good comparison. It's not a good thing that he's like him.
No, it's not.
But do you know what the great significance of this AJ and Omos winning this match is?
I know it's Omos's first matchup, but other than that, I don't know.
This would make AJ Styles the only wrestler to now be a Grand Slam champion in both the WWE and in TNA.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I'll be damned. Well, that's kind of cool. I mean, at least there's that. Oh. Yeah. But yeah, against the New Day, they go over on it. I mean, that's all we need to talk about that. It's not going to get any worse than that. Oh, fuck. Never mind. All right. Steel cage match. Braun Strowman against Shane. Yeah, y'all, you can tell. Add Braun Strowman to the list of fuck'ems. I don't like Braun Strowman. I personally, I don't know. He just doesn't do it for me, man. Another big giant. Don't care.
The sad thing is, to me, Braun's not the worst part about this situation. Because at this point, you had freaking Elias and Jackson Ryder as Shane's little henchman.
God, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Before Jackson Ryder got fired for saying stuff he did online.
Yeah, I totally spaced it. Forgot about that. You're right, dude. And then now the good thing is we're gonna close night one on a positive, and how about this mixed tag or this tag team matchup? You got John Morrison and The Miz on one end, Damian Priest, and making his in-ring debut,
Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny. And this is the first celebrity match I can remember watching where I was like, I got invested into it, not by the build-up, but watching the matchup. And it's like, holy fuck, Bad Bunny can go.
Bad
Nobody
Bunny
saw that
cares about
coming.
business.
That's exactly true. He's a
I
fan, and
kinda
he
did.
cared. Yeah.
Yeah, because of where he grew up. I mean, he's from Puerto Rico. Like, they care. Like, they have 4 channels in Puerto Rico, and one of those channels plays pro wrestling all the time. Like, he grew up watching the business.
No, that's true.
I have a
And I
few
think,
friends who grew
and
up
I,
in Puerto Rico. So
and I'm gonna say too, like I know you're a huge hip hop fan too, and like probably were you a fan of Bad Bunny, like with his like
no,
that out?
this was my first time even hearing about Bad Bunny.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Yeah, because I went into this storyline like, okay, who's this guy, and why should I care?
Yeah. I still have like I could pick him out, but like I really don't know much about him other than I know he's going to be in 2K23 if you buy this pre-order exclusive.
He does.
Yep.
Yeah, he's an R&B singer, and he's one of the most viewed. Got some of the most viewed music on YouTube and on all the other streaming sites. Like his music is very popular with the kids.
Well, that and also too, he wrote a rap song about Booker T.
Yeah,
I know that. But yeah, I'm like you, Michael. I didn't even know who he was until like they started talking about him on WWE TV, and like I say, man, just blew my mind about how well he did. And of course, doing a Canadian Destroyer outside, dude, that was crazy. But this was a pretty good matchup. This was an enjoyable tag team matchup, but by far the best match of the night, best match of the weekend, the main event.
Finally,
Sasha
a great
Banks
main event
against Bianca Belair for the SmackDown Women's Championship. In my opinion, outside of maybe Mickie James and Trish Stratus, this is my favorite women's championship matchup in WrestleMania history. This matchup delivered on so many levels. Sasha is, in my opinion, I think is one of the greatest ring generals of all time. Like psychology she does in her matches is phenomenal. Mercedes, she freaking kills it. So many awesome spots in this one. I think my favorite was the tribute to Mark Henry, where Bianca like catches her outside and like is bench pressing her and walks up the steps and throws her back in the ring. That was fucking awesome. The hair whip in this matchup. Woo.
And I will put that beginning face off against Hogan and Rock at WrestleMania 18.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. Just the motion on both their faces. And Bianca almost in tears, but like Sasha kind of bringing her back in like the professional she is. And Bianca kills it in this match too. Just this match is so fucking good. So fucking good. Just one of my all-time favorite WrestleMania main events. And what an emotional moment there at the end where you get Bianca winning the SmackDown Women's Championship, man. Great back and forth one. A truly deserving of being a WrestleMania main event. Well, that was night 1. Let's get into night 2 of WrestleMania 37. And you kick it off.
About the intro? Can we talk about Hulk Hogan's fuck-ups?
Oh, Jesus. You had to go there, brother. Yeah, because that's right. Hogan and Titus were the host of WrestleMania.
Yes, and he says the wrong city and like,
yet again.
In the wrong stadium name, and it's just fucking great because I like it when Hulk Hogan fucks up because screw him. So anytime
Hulk Hogan. B-roll, can you talk to Sweet Dollface? I think that's the next Cole TV shirt we need. Fuck Hulk Hogan. Like as much as we hate like Vince and all that, like it's Hulk Hogan. Like that's the guy I hate the most. Fuck Hulk Hogan.
That does get said quite a bit.
Fuck Hulk Hogan. I'm gonna do like a fuck Hulk Hogan button on my soundboard here and have it go on here, in the next couple.
Maybe we just have it like say FHH, and we know what it means, but nobody else does.
There you go.
Or FUHH, like he used to do. Remember when in 01 when they were doing the New Blood
FU New
storyline.
Blood, FUNB. I
Yeah.
forgot about that. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I remember weird shit about that era of WCW. Don't ask
You're not
me. It's a great.
You're not the only one, brother. But yeah, Hulk Hogan as a host on this. And what hot take here, real quick? Do you all really give a shit about like who the host of WrestleMania is? I don't. I think it's just
No,
okay.
I don't want a host. I want matches.
Exactly.
I don't
I
know.
could
I'm
get-
ready for the musical though.
Oh yeah, with the Miz this year, yeah. But let's get to WrestleMania 37 Night 2. Your opening matchup: Randy Orton against the Fiend, the returning Fiend.
This is my least favorite cinematic match, or whatever the bullshit this is.
I guess you could call it a cinematic match. I think you said it right there. Bullshit. The Fiend like losing to Randy, and then like the whole like Alexa thing, and it never got revealed. I don't know. And then you never really see the Fiend again. Like, it's an unfortunate how the Fiend character ended, and I honestly don't think we'll see him again. But you never know. Then you go to the Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler defending their tag team championship against Natalya and Tamina. The one cool thing I will say about this is I really love like Tamina kind of getting a WrestleMania moment, and like Tamina and Nia Jax, that showdown between the cousins. You know, we talk about the Noy family and like a dream matchup with The Rock against Roman. What about that? Tamina against Nia 1-on-1? I'm just saying.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. Then you have the Kevin Owens. Oh, there. Yeah. Yes, they do. Then you have Kevin Owens against Sami Zayn, and boy, how ironic! You know, now this year, look where they're at. But Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and the whole thing was Sami Zayn was like conspiracy theorists. Everybody's out to get him. Yada yada. He brings in Logan Paul, so this would be kind of the WrestleMania debut of Logan Paul. Although he wasn't in a match, but he was in Sammy's corner. But we all know where we're going there after
And now
this.
he's facing Seth.
Right? How crazy is that? Man, talk about like a physical matchup. How about the United States Championship with Sheamus against Riddle, and Sheamus winning the U.S. Championship?
So fucking good.
Yes. Yeah.
So good. That is a hidden gem of a match.
Great matchup. Very physical. Beating the fuck out of each other. How about the first ever Nigerian drum match with Apollo Crews and Big E for the Intercontinental Championship? Like, it's a street fight, folks. It's a street fight's what it is.
Again, a great talent like Apollo Crews.
Just not getting what the greatness he deserves.
I agree. By the way, can you hear me? Because my mic just come undone there for a minute.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Had some technical issues here towards the end, folks. Sorry about that. But yeah, like, cool for Apollo getting on Mania and winning the IC title. But yeah, enough of that. Rhea Ripley, I guess, kind of getting a WrestleMania moment, defeating Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. I don't know. I just kind of felt about this matchup.
Yeah. They did definitely not live up what the talent should have. Those two are so talented. It should have been way better.
Agreed.
Should have. And it was.
And agreed. And then your WrestleMania Night 2 main event, the triple threat match for the Universal Championship, Roman Reigns defending against Edge and Daniel Bryan. And I think the most significant thing about this one is the finish where Roman stacks them and pins both Edge and Daniel Bryan at the same time. And I think it was a really huge win for him and huge about his character and his current run he's on, where he's just dominating people left and right. But I mean, this WrestleMania was decent. Like, mainly Bianca and Sasha is what's the best part about this WrestleMania. So
Definitely. This would be the first time or the fifth time in WrestleMania history that a heel, only the fifth time that a heel won the main event.
Interesting. I didn't realize that. Here you go, man. That's why we call you the wrestling encyclopedia, my friend. Very well done. All right, and let's talk about last year's WrestleMania, WrestleMania 38. My God, B-roll, can you believe we've covered all the WrestleManias and we're getting to the finish line here?
It is crazy. This was my actual first WrestleMania.
This was, yep. And once again, the 2-night
I
format.
forget that you have not been a fan that long.
Yeah, it's a true
Right?
story.
It is a true story. But yeah, so this WrestleMania, the ones we've been talking about here tonight, a lot of them have been weak, but there like been some good ones. But I loved last year's WrestleMania. I thought it was really well done.
Yeah.
I
thought it
didn't
was
really
great.
care for the main event on night 2, and we're going to talk about that here in a bit. But the biggest thing I took away from this WrestleMania, it was like the end of an era finally for like a lot of wrestlers from the past. So first and foremost, we got to talk about the main event of night 1. How about Stone Cold Steve Austin coming out of retirement for like he'd been retired for 20 years or close to it.
Yeah.
Going up against Kevin Owens in a no holds barred match. Now, of course, the build up to this was like they kind of just advertised it as the KO show, and of course, but it went on as the last segment, the main event, if you will, of night 1. But I mean, we all knew at the end of the day there was going to be something more than just like a Steve Austin like coming in and beating ass, and hell, we got like a fucking almost a 14-minute match out of it.
15
And
yeah, almost 15 minutes. And
Austin looked great, I thought, and no better of an opponent could he went up against Kevin Owens. It just shows you how talented he is.
And like, if you know the story of like Kevin Owens meeting him in the airport,
yeah,
and the significance of like that conversation, it is a great 360 way to like end Steve Austin's career and kind of catapult Kevin.
Yeah, I just remember we were sitting there thinking like, okay, it depends on like what is Austin wearing when he comes out? Like, is he in ring gear or like what's he wearing? What's he wearing?
And you knew when you saw the double leg knee braces, man, you're like, okay, shit's going down.
He gave me a heart attack that whole match. I was like, if he throws his back out or if his knees buckle, this is not gonna go well.
And he took some bumps in that one too, man.
Yeah.
KO, God love KO. And KO deserved that moment too, to be the guy that you're chosen to go against Stone Cold Steve Austin above everybody else. Nobody deserved that more than Kevin Owens. Perfect fucking moment. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. And then the other things I kind of want to talk about at the end of this era, and I'm kind of going to jump around a bit. Also, this is Undertaker goes into the Hall of Fame. Pretty much, and at this point, we finally really pulled the curtain back on Mark Calloway. So now we really know we're not going to see the Undertaker wrestle again. Maybe he comes in the ring and does a promo or does a stare, maybe even does like a choke slam somebody or something, but we're not getting another Taker matchup. And I'm definitely okay with that because I love Taker.
Yeah.
And then speaking of the end of an era too, Triple H starts off night 2, comes out, puts his boots out in the middle of the ring because remember, Triple H almost died like the year before, essentially, with a serious heart issue.
It wasn't even a year; it was literally like a few months before.
A few months before. You're right. Yeah, but him ended up pretty much signifying his retirement. And I guess we got to give the devil credit where credit's due. Vince McMahon, in the last time we would really see him on air. Of course, being in Theory's corner against Pat McAfee and thus even having a match against Pat McAfee and winning. But that moment in the end where Austin comes out and Austin stuns McMahon one last time.
Yep.
You know,
we got Austin not once but twice.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was just like I say, all these characters we've grown up with, and now that's it. Like this is their swan song. So there you go. But Miss WrestleMania would be chock full of some moments, and I think arguably the moment of the weekend by far is we got to talk about it. Seth Rollins facing a mystery opponent. All sorts of rumors on who this mystery opponent was going to be. Some of us did not think this person would be making their return because, like, nah, there's no way. And then, but the dirt sheets were right, essentially. We're talking about the return of the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes. And I just remember, and B-roll, you remember this too, me just marking out, looking over at you, and I was just like blown away because of the presentation. Because this isn't like a bullshit like Cody Rhodes version that watered down. This is like Cody Rhodes for what he's built up in his time
Yep.
away from WWE. And that's really the first time we'd seen that. And it's crazy to talk about this a year later, you think about it, because at the time frame folks were talking about, WWE was just so running the ground, I think, with their storytelling and stuff. And the let's call a spade, the regulations by Vince McMahon and how fucking idiotic his booking was. But man, oh man, what a freaking moment seeing Cody Rhodes come back. Michael, what did you think when you saw Cody come out?
I kind of knew it was going to happen just because I read Dirt Streets like none other. But goddamn, the fact that he came out to that entrance with the blonde hair, like, phenomenal. The fact that he didn't budge on that is just good on him.
The fact that he come out to the Downstat song, man. Yeah, I agree. I did feel adrenaline in my soul. Something, Cody Rhodes.
that is right. And hey, let's tease a little bit. If you want to see the actual live reaction, it's available on Cole TV.
That's right. That is true.
Yeah, I mean, it was to see the American Nightmare gimmick.
In all of its glory, truly untarnished.
On the grandest stage of them all.
It was awesome. Dude, it was fucking awesome.
It was a significant moment for so many reasons.
And for professional wrestling in general, because it just goes to show you they're finally acknowledging there is other wrestling outside of the WWE folks, and that's okay.
Have you guys seen his belt for this year?
Yes. So he released that on Twitter today, and it's cool because on the inside of the belt, it's literally has inscribed every single company that he worked with, on his independent run. I think that is fucking amazing.
Yeah, the fact that it's being allowed is phenomenal.
Yeah, and I will say this: if he gives that away to somebody, that is going to be worth a fuck ton of money.
There will be a fight. I don't think he wants that. That will be a lawsuit.
I'm looking it up right now.
I hope that they can paraphrase the conclusion. There you go. Right. Finish the story. But let's talk about the rest of WrestleMania 38 Night 1. So your opening matchup had the Usos defend the SmackDown Tag Team Championships against Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs. Fun opener. Great entrance, but just kind of a bummer with what the entry Rick Boogs suffered in this matchup.
Yeah.
Literally blowing out his leg when he was lifting both the Usos up. Scary moment, but that was your opening matchup. Drew McIntyre against Happy Corbin. And the significance of this is Drew McIntyre become the first wrestler, I believe, to kick out of the End of Days. But I remember the end where Drew takes his stupid fucking sword and swings it at Madcap Moss and breaks the ring or the rope. I don't know. I thought that was just a waste of time, in my opinion. We get the in-ring debut of the Miz, or I'm sorry, not the Miz, of Logan Paul teaming up with the Miz.
That's hilarious, by the way.
That's going up against the Mysterios, Ray and Dominic. And boy, oh boy, what a year!
The irony of this all happening is also funny.
Yeah.
Especially with what's going on with Ray and Dom.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, this was Logan Paul, man, this was the first time where it's okay, this guy can go, apparently. And, yeah, you love him, hate him, whatever. You can't deny the boy. The boy is talented, nonetheless. And another phenomenal matchup, and talk about a great story. How about the Raw Women's Championship with Bianca Belair against Becky Lynch? And both incredible entrances, too, as well. Look out, bitch. He's got a knife. Love you, buddy. But yeah, so the Raw Women's Championship match, I love this matchup. I thought this was a great matchup. Great storytelling, too. And I would say the best matchup between Bianca and Becky as well.
Yeah.
But this is a great matchup nonetheless. Now, another women's championship matchup, which honestly I don't think was as great, the SmackDown Women's Championship with Charlotte Flair defending against Ronda Rousey. I don't know.
No.
I did not nearly enjoy this match as much as the Raw Women's Championship. And I will say this at the time frame, I don't know about you guys, but I was really surprised that they had both the Women's Championship matches on night one. I really
Yeah.
thought they would have
Yeah.
one on night one and one on night two, but oh well.
But this was Vince, not you know Vince.
It's Vince. It's Vince. Well, let's talk about night 2 of WrestleMania 38. You kick off with a triple threat tag team match for the Raw Tag Team Championship with RK Bro defending against the Street Profits and Alpha Academy. Great opener. Great tag team matchup.
Phenomenal.
All three teams are phenomenal. Now, at the time I watched this, I was surprised with this next matchup, and B-Roll will tell you this because once again, we get Vince McMahon's wet dream, Omos, going up against Bobby Lashley and winning this matchup. Bobby, of course, winning. I thought this was going to be a piss break matchup, and it wasn't bad. It's not great. It was better than I thought it was going to be. Let's put it that way. But this next matchup,
My
blows
favorite
me
match of
away.
the night.
I agree, and it just shows you how talented this man is. We're talking about the matchup: Sami Zayn against Johnny Knoxville. And boy, what a year can make a difference. How talented is fucking Sami Zayn? Seriously, like to go from this comedic matchup to make it a really fun matchup to now being in one of the main event matchups of this year's WrestleMania. Dude, Sammy's incredible.
And we can't forget the WrestleMania debut of one Mark Henry and Mae Young Ham Baby.
The Hand. Yes, the Hand makes an appearance in this matchup. And I'll never forget when Wee Man slammed Sami Zayn. Like, oh my god. Just this match is fun. It's fun, honestly. You get a fatal 4-way matchup for your women's tag team championship. What? Go ahead.
You guys actually want to hear a funny story?
Yeah, go ahead.
So they have all the guys from the movie come out.
Oh, okay.
And there's a part of the movie cast. His name's Jasper.
Is Jasper the dad?
The bald-headed African American?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So Jasper is actually originally from a rap group called Odd Future.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Which a friend of mine, Mike G's a part of. So a couple days after Mania, I was actually hanging out with my friends on an app called Clubhouse. And my friend Mike G's like, yeah, Michael, I know you're a wrestling fan, but to let you know, my friend Jasper was on something called WrestleMania. I was like, I saw him, and it's not just something called WrestleMania. That's one of the biggest wrestling pay-per-views of the year for the WWE. Don't insult me like that.
Yeah, it's like not only that, it's the biggest event of for all of wrestling. Let's call a spade, you know? Yeah, this thing called WrestleMania. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
I was like, Mike G, I kind of want to slap you right now.
I can understand why. Well, that's cool, man. But yeah, this fatal 4-way for the women's championship with Sasha Banks and Naomi defeating Carmella and Queen Selena, Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, Natalya and Shayna Baszler. Once again, just kind of a match to get some gals on the card. No offense to them, but it is what it is. How about this dream matchup one-on-one? Edge against AJ Styles. And a couple things I remember from this one. Mainly AJ coming out bleeding already. And yes, this is the infamous where AJ ran into the stage in the back, and cut his cheek open.
You should see the other guy.
There you go. But nonetheless a great matchup. And hey, this was the start of the Judgment Day. And my God, look at the Judgment Day this year. They are not involved in one, not two, but three huge matchups at WrestleMania. So just interesting to see. And that's we mentioned this earlier, but we got to talk about B-Roll's boy, Pat McAfee, going up against Austin Theory. And of course, going over on Theory. Yes. Who doesn't, right? And then, of course, the Pat McAfee against Mr. McMahon. How crazy is that to say out loud? Vince McMahon's last in-ring matchup was against Pat McAfee. Pretty wild
It is
stuff.
a little wild.
Yeah. But let's talk about your main event, the match they've been building up. Go ahead.
Did we missed a tag match?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Sheamus and
I
Ridge
forgot.
Holland.
Yeah, because that was supposed to be on night 1, and they had to move it night 2. But you're right. Sheamus
Correct.
and Ridge Holland against the New Day. That's how memorable that matchup was.
Yeah.
But
Minute and 40 seconds.
Yeah, there you go. But let's talk about your main event. It was built up as the biggest WrestleMania match of all time, huh? Once again, Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar 3, combining the Universal and WWE Championship match, or championship titles. Hey, they went at least 12 minutes in this one, folks. So you got that, I guess. I don't know. I was so content happy with the rest of the WrestleMania card this weekend that I was like, all right, fuck it, whatever. I really don't care about this matchup, but I got to watch it through the end. It's not a terrible matchup, but it's just like in comparison to the other things that happened on this card, it's
yeah.
To me, it's a little insignificant. It's definitely not worth what it's hyped up to be.
Yeah, it's like this is your main event of WrestleMania. It's kind of like the greatest Royal Rumble. Like, it's not really the greatest Royal Rumble.
Right.
It may have been the biggest, but
yeah. So, yeah, there you have it, folks. We have ran through all of WrestleMania's history. How crazy is that, dude? Four episodes, and we got through it somehow.
We did it, and we're ready. On to the next one.
That's right. Speaking of which, let's talk about this year's WrestleMania. As we're going to close out the show here tonight, we're going to give you a little preview, a little sneak peek of WrestleMania 39. So let's just run the card down. Of course, we found out this week we are getting the Usos against Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens for the Unified Tag Team Championship. In my opinion, I feel like this matchup should close night 1. But I know a lot of people are saying Rhea and Charlotte's closing night 1. I've heard some people suggest this match open night 2, but
I feel like I want it to be main event of night 1, but I do understand they want to do with the Women's Royal Rumble what they do with the men's, where the winner gets the main event.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But I don't know. To me, this is like the second most important match this weekend, other than our main event. But also, how about this one? We talked about it. Logan Paul and Seth Rollins are going to be going one-on-one. I think this is going to be a great matchup. We know what Logan can do. We damn sure know what Seth can do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is going to be a match of the night, match of the weekend contender.
Yeah. Yeah, and like Seth is just so good, and like he's so good at getting people over too.
Oh yeah,
keeping while still keeping himself yeah,
I agree. I think it's gonna be a classic matchup, and it's potential to steal the weekend for sure. But this match may give it a run for its money. The triple threat for the Intercontinental Championship with Gunther defending against Drew McIntyre and Sheamus. Big meaty men slapping big meaty men times 2, baby.
Right. I know what's gonna happen in this match, and it makes me so happy.
What's gonna happen?
Sheamus is finally gonna get that IC title.
You think it's gonna happen?
He hasn't won
it. It could. I kind of enjoyed the Gunther run, but yeah.
I think just Triple H is going to try to make everyone happy with this Mania.
I agree.
Fans-wise. And I think since this is the last belt he needs on that ultimate Grand Slam situation.
I think that's a valid point. I could see it going that way.
So give him the moment at Mania.
Yeah,
maybe.
I think this Mania is going to be filled with moments.
Yeah, I agree. I think either way you slice it, any of these guys who win it, it's a win-win because they're all three phenomenal performers. So I don't think you can go wrong with anybody winning this one. How about your Raw Women's Championship with Bianca Belair defending against Asuka?
I love this.
I think in ring I'm looking forward to it, but the build I haven't been too impressed with. But I mean, I think this is going to be one of those scenarios where it's like, who gives a shit about the build? They're going to have a great matchup at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
think,
have liked this slight heel turn from Asuka, going
I
back to her
agree.
Japanese character.
Yeah, Takana. Hell yeah, dude. I love it. I love the makeup and stuff, and just the way she carries herself. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, the blue mist or whatever.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, it's like
Phenomenal.
Asuka. It's like mommy. Sorry. Anyways, the WrestleMania Showcase Tag Team matchup. We've got this 4-way. With you guys.
This is the AKA get them on the card match.
Yes.
Yeah.
With 3 phenomenal teams and Ricochet and fucking Braun Strowman. It's the way I look at this one. Because I like 7 out of the 8 competitors in this one. But yes, you got the Street Profits, Viking Raiders, Alpha Academy, and yes, Ricochet and Braun Strowman. Like you say, let's get them on the card.
I love the fact that the Ricochet Braun Strowman team was made to punish Braun Strowman because of stuff he said on Twitter.
It is getting over, though.
Yeah, it's getting over. Like, it was supposed to be a short punishment because he made fun of, high flyers and flippy dippy shit, and yet it's gotten over. That's pretty impressive.
You can't deny that, my friend. Oh, dear God. And this one, Vince McMahon's wet dream, Omos against Brock Lesnar. I will say this. Brock has done a phenomenal job in putting Omos over as far as like the size and stuff, making this seem somewhat more entertaining than what it's going to be. I'm going to go into this like I did last year with the Lashley match, just shitting on it, and it delivers to be a somewhat decent matchup. But I don't know. The thing is with Lesnar, I just feel like this is kind of a wasted matchup, but it is what it is. And then we've got Hell in a Cell, Finn Balor against Edge. We're probably getting Demon Finn Balor. This, to me, we talked about matches stealing the weekend. I think this is going to be the one that steals the weekend, honestly.
Yeah. And I hope that when Finn Balor comes out and it's Demon, that it's not red, white, and black Demon. I want him to come out with some purple paint.
Oh, that would be dope. Oh my God, I never even thought about that, dude. Like, so we get like a Judgment Day Demon. Ooh,
yes,
that would be sick.
You need to like tweet at him or something.
Let's do it. We need it in our lives. And we've got this 6. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I'm pissed. I'm pissed about this match.
You're pissed about it. Okay, let's talk about it. What pisses you off about this one? Because we're getting Damage Control against Becky Lynch, Trish Stratus, and Lita.
You have titles, and you're not putting them on the card.
Well, I understand where you're coming from, but I think it's okay in this instance because we're getting actually a good story out of it, I think. And we're getting Trish Stratus like on a card, so I'm cool with that.
I'm just saying you could have had all 6 of these people on the card technically, made this a tag title match, and had Bayley and Trish be managers.
Or what if you have Bayley and Trish go one-on-one?
Yeah, or have them go one-on-one.
I don't know.
There's a better way, in my opinion, to do this.
Yeah.
Than a 6-woman tag.
I get what you're saying, but I'm going to respectively disagree. I'm looking forward to. I kind of like this being a 6-woman tag match. I like that we're keeping Damage Control together. I'm okay with it. It doesn't bother me. But
in ring, I know I'm gonna love it because I love all 6 of these women. It's just when you have championships and it's WrestleMania, I would expect the championships to be on the line.
I totally get it, and like it makes sense, but
I mean,
But-
they do have a Raw, beforehand. So,
so if they drop them to like I don't know,
well,
somebody that's going to compete in that other woman's tag match or something, who knows?
I don't know, but I mean, just because it's a triple or trios doesn't like you had that one. I mean, I know it was pandemic, but where they represented the tag teams and it was just a singles competitor. I mean, it's been done. It could be done if.
I honestly, I don't think you need it. I think the story
Right.
tells itself. That's my opinion, but yeah. And we got to talk about. We found out this is going to be the opening matchup, night one. Austin Theory, John Cena for the United States Championship, and you heard Michael's opinion on this one of what he thinks is going to happen, which I can see happen too. I think this is a good spot for Theory to be in. I'm looking forward to this matchup, and I think it's going to be a fun way to kick off WrestleMania weekend. But I do think A-Town is down for sure and is going to retain his U.S. Championship.
Yeah.
And the potential main event of night one, Rhea Ripley against Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's Championship.
Theory definitely go.
Going to be an incredible matchup. Not a huge fan of the storyline build, and I want to say this: the Charlotte Flair promo from this past SmackDown, it was hard to watch, honestly. No, I love nothing against Charlotte and all, but she just works so much better as a heel, and just like babyface Charlotte, just it sucks.
Sucks. It's horrible. Babyface Charlotte is trash.
But let's talk about it. The match of matches, the creme de la creme, the biggest one of the weekend. Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare, challenging Roman Reigns for the undisputed Universal Championship. Will the story get finished? This match, to me, I feel like this is one of the more important WrestleMania matches, that main event matches. This is a match that truly deserves to go on last. And I honestly think it's been several years since you've been able to say that for the men, for them to go on last. But this match has all of the billings of a true WrestleMania main event. I think it's going to be phenomenal, and I cannot wait to see it because I need that moment at the end of the night where the story gets finished and adrenaline's going to be in my soul, and a crying Cody Rhodes is in the ring holding those championships up in the air. That's what I want to see. But that's your WrestleMania rundown. Of course, we do know there's going to be a women's four-way tag match. We still have competitors to be determined for that, but we do know Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler will be in it, along with Shotzi Blackheart and Natalya, as well as Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. And we did also just find out we are going to get father and son this weekend. We found out that we're getting Dominic and Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania. But man, oh man, what a WrestleMania card it is stacked up to be. I think guys, it could go down as one of the better WrestleMania cards we've seen definitely in the past 10 years. Maybe definitely the best out of all the ones we covered tonight, I think.
Yeah. I mean, certainly based off of the card itself. Yeah, I mean, there's certain matches I'm not looking forward to, but
yeah, honestly, there's not any. I don't really care about the four-way matches on this, but everything else I'm really looking forward to, man. I'm pumped. Okay, and Omos and Lesnar, I don't give a shit about, but yeah, other than that,
that's the only match I don't care about. The rest of the card, I'm like, this is masterful.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what Triple H does. Well, folks, we've come to the end here, and as always, when we come to the end, one last plug of Palooza. And we kicked off tonight here with the WrestleMania week has now officially become on Cold TV. But we've got all sorts of content lined up for you this week. And one last time, let's just kind of show you a rundown of that, of what to expect this week on Cold. there you go. It's going to be a hell of a week here on Cole TV. And we can't wait for all of you to join us all throughout this week. And don't forget tomorrow, premiere of PW60. You're not going to want to miss that. And of course, we got to mention the merch real quick, right, B-Roll?
That is right. Head on over to Sweet Doll Face Creations. Make sure you pick up some merch. And yes, even Chubby has merch now. But yeah, and yeah, Michael, we thank you for coming on and joining us. Why don't we give you the floor real quick and tell us where we can find you and where you'll be and where you're going to pop up. And
you can catch me at MJ Duplessis 1992 on TikTok. Friday nights usually on the TGN networks for the Friday night fight night watch-alongs. And we're doing watch-alongs ourselves WrestleMania weekend for multiple shows. This Friday we'll not be watching SmackDown. We will be watching Ring of Honor pay-per-view, which is a phenomenal card in itself. Super excited for.
Oh my God. Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
It's going to be a hell of a week here. It's like I say, man. We say it before, we'll say it again. This is like Christmas for us wrestling fans. Is this WrestleMania week? Because it's not just WrestleMania. It's all these other promotions putting on all their incredible shows. But yeah. And like I say, this for us on Cole TV, this is just the start of what's going to be an amazing week. But there you go, man. Well, we want to thank you all for joining us tonight here on Learn. You didn't think you were going to get by without me making an appearance now, did you? Damn. Now, I want to say, boys, you did a pretty good show. You went over like you always do, but it's okay. You did good. It's going to be a good week here on Cole TV. Remember, I am your producer, and I think you did a good job, B-Roll, tonight. Not too bad. Like, you're all right. You're a good egg, but just don't piss me off, because if you do, I'll come over there and I'll beat your ass.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you.
Damn! Yeah, Ron had to get his shit in, so. All right, folks. Thank you again for joining us here tonight as we kicked off WrestleMania week on Cole TV. Huge shout out and thank you to our good friend Michael for joining us here tonight. We appreciate having you come on with us talking the history of WrestleMania. And like I say, this is the beginning of what's going to be an incredible week in the landscape of professional wrestling. Till next time, I'm XLJ the OG with my partner, crime, Mr. B-Roll. And we'll see you next time on another episode of Learning the Ropes.